From Atlanta, Fulton County.
We're storming the Capitol. It's a revolution.
What color I see? Then you maintain the status.
December 7th, 19.
I'm gonna question a psychopath.
I love you so badly.
I got me.
Specialty race.
Right, everybody.
Yeah, look at, they got to get that bird. They have a fake bird going through. They're chasing a bird, right?
Yeah, they do. Oh, yeah, it's like a little, they couldn't get, you probably used to do the real thing. Welcome to the show, everybody. This is Keith Paesel. We're here on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, there it is. You see on the string?
Watching a little television. Adam Crocious is here.
Yep.
You kind of snapped me out because I was going to do a show tonight. Like at night, and then you hit me up and we're like, do you want to record at 1:30? And I was like, did I plan with Crocious to record? And I got excited because I was like, he wants to like watch, he wants to do the show.
Want to do the show. You know, I haven't come here in a couple weeks. I got to be here. It's been a while. I feel, you know.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Been a while. Yeah, exactly. But we're watching. Well, again, there's a new format to the show.
There is a new format.
Which is, again, is a good idea. It's the idea that we're going to just start when we channel surf, which is part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to start from channel 2
and just go down
work our
and
way
just
up.
Work our way down.
Yeah.
That's what I did last week, and it seemed to work well.
That's a decent structure because this programming right now to take on
this
football
is
mind-blowing.
Oh, my favorite thing is especially during the Super Bowl. Like my favorite thing to do is watch shows that are on during the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Because it's like high school volleyball championships.
I know.
Because all the seasons are culminating. Like so you see poor dads in the stands that can't watch the Super Bowl because their daughter is playing fucking varsity volleyball at fucking Marshall.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you're right. It's all these weird. Didn't they have the Puppy Bowl was one of the things?
Oh, the Puppy Bowl still happens.
Yeah, yeah. You see, what I remember was the Bud Bowl. When I was in college, the very first Bud Bowl, which was Budweiser and Bud Light took each other on, you know, and they had this mock football game in the Joe Montana to John Taylor Super Bowl. Super Bowl 23, I believe that was.
Super Bowl 2, 3.
You know, which was Montana and the Niners beating the Bengals. And they had the Bud Bowl. That was also a thing they have for, you know, a little thing. But anyway, yeah.
So now this is K-Set, Channel 3. This is the African Americans. 18. This is probably like Ken Burns. This is Kenneth Burns right now.
Yeah, documentary story, exactly.
Kenneth Burns, brother.
Oh yeah, this is Civil War.
Yeah.
Having to deal with that shit. So that must have been pretty bizarre.
Kenneth Burns. Ken Burns hadn't tackled slavery yet. He probably in the Civil War.
In the Civil War, yeah. No, this is a knockoff.
But they're not going to let some Peckerwood do the slave story.
I don't know, man. Maybe they would. You know,
naval blockading force.
Yeah.
Slaving
was so lucrative. Of course. I mean, again.
That's what the movie The Woman King we saw. That's a big part of it. Is like how even the African nations took part in it, and it was
of course.
And at a certain point, even they were like bound to like, we're stuck here now because we make so much money doing this.
We've cut this deal,
even though we don't like it. Like we'd go poor. We'd be in the Poe house.
Well, yeah, what else are they going to do? I mean, I just watched Lincoln again this week. I hadn't seen Lincoln in years.
Doesn't he talk all femmy in that movie?
Oh, no, wait, I guess it was very much, supposedly Abraham Lincoln's voice was a very kind of high register voice. Like, he
Yeah.
can't talk with a high, but he had a very loquacious, it was kind of high pitched. He was intellectual.
Ken-
Rumor was he might have been gay.
Yeah.
That was the rumor about Lincoln. He might have been gay.
Ken Whitskell read the biography of Lincoln, and I guess in the biography of Lincoln it says like he had nude Greco-Roman wrestling matches.
Well, I
with
think
his-
that people did that back like in the 1830s and shit.
Yeah.
You know, that's got you'd wrestle around and like this weird sort of, but it's totally good because it does a very good job of explaining kind of the politics that went into passing the amendment to abolish slavery. You know, yet they don't go into the details of the language that has opened it up for, we're going to have mass incarceration. That, of course, was not handled. You know,
Right.
It's just like, God, it's so gross.
Look how they looked so racist.
Dude.
You'd think if they were like, hey, we're about to snap a pic, look a little kind.
Well, they didn't even know it was newfangled technology. You know, they had no idea how to react to a shot. It was that big powder thing that blew up, poof, that big thing. I mean, we're talking crude photography. Although the Civil War had basic photography. It was bad because I know the Gettysburg Address, you know, the Lincoln speech, that he's actually caught on a very grainy film on that, you know. We're going to film the, yeah, absolutely. Giving a speech.
Yeah, there's like little pieces of his voice.
Yeah.
That's available.
Yeah, it's very, very.
Fucking someone was scratching a plate when he was talking
Yeah,
one day,
exactly.
and the waves got caught.
There we go. Yeah, exactly. You know, so if you watch it, it goes a lot into the slavery thing and just, you know, whatever. I mean, it was 1/4 of the nation's millionaires lived in the Mississippi Delta back then. The Mississippi Delta, which is deemed one of the poorest parts of the country now, at one time had 1/4 of the country's millionaires, all off the slave
The
trade.
home of blues.
All off the slave trade, you know, and it's just like, wow, that was the core of it. You know, it's like, I mean, that's, you know, that's what it was. The nature of capitalism was, under attack. You know, it was morphing into something different. Like slavery had no, we can do it in a better way, a more cost-effective way. We can give them a false hope of something. We can gather their mind as opposed to just brute force, you know?
Yeah.
Do this, do that, you know? No, there's better ways of manipulating people, you know? It was also, you know, whatever.
There was a bull market on people, as they would
it's
say.
pretty crazy, you know? You know, it's...
To Channel 4. This is weird. We got nightly news on at 3:30 p.m. because this is the West Coast.
Yeah, absolutely.
See what's going on in the world.
Historic
A
moon.
step toward justice.
Historic moon mission, what, proving to people that it's real?
Oh, they're doing it.
Scotland.
That Lockerbie, Scotland. That was fucking 34 years ago.
Yeah, I was actually just watching a bunch of like plane crashes from the 70s and stuff like that.
It's fucking fascinating.
There was an air.
It's fascinating. I go down that YouTube hole. Absolutely. I've watched a good 4 or 5. You know, like I have enough to talk about it. You know, I mean, the one on the, I'm sorry to say this, the one on the Canary Islands, that's an epic plane crash.
There was one that that was another bomb. It was, I think, Thai Air, or it was some what the fuck was it? India Air in the 70s.
Yeah.
Got blown up. There was, and it was like some dude, it was the beginning of people needing to prove that you're actually getting on the plane. Because this dude checked into the airport and checked his luggage and then didn't get on the airplane.
Oh, God.
So after it blew up, everybody was like, why would you check a bag and not then check and see if that guy got...
Yeah.
And like how it happened is, God, the lady...
It was so loose.
Well,
you know?
the dude was being really mean to the lady. She was telling him, like, you have to like prove that you're on this flight. I can't just check the bag. And he started screaming at her. And he went to go walk away, and she goes, "Come back, sir." And then he goes, and then she told him, "You need to tell when you get to Toronto, because it was a connecting flight. Like, you need to get with the Air India people in Toronto."
Wow.
And he was like, "Okay, I'll do that." And then he just walked. He checked the bag, and it had a bomb in it. And then he just left the airport. So I think it was after that one where they started making people like prove that you're actually like here.
Yeah. That was the flying I grew up with. Going through a metal detector in like the late 70s, that was like, holy shit, this is high-end technology. Going through a metal detector in 1978, like I had to get on a plane. It was like, wow. I mean, it was a more kind of a more intense process of traveling via plane, you know, when I was younger. I remember being aware of that. But I started flying when I was 5 years old. I went through a phase, you know, in my 20s of fearing it dramatically.
Yeah,
And
turbulence
now
and stuff.
I just don't give a shit. I don't say I don't give a shit, but I'm a little tense, but it's just not that big of a deal. I don't
Annual, we're on KTLA. This is like RCW. This is the annual Our Lady of Guadalupe.
Here we go.
And is already animated, although she has no voice. But she trusts the Blessed Virgin.
That's just a lady who has no charisma. This is what I love about public access. It's just people with zero charisma getting a chance. We're gonna get caught for the word of the Lord. They're gonna copyright us for the word of the Lord.
Yeah. We've got that copy written. We own the word. There we go. He owned the word right there with the cross.
On to Me TV, Mission Impossible.
Ooh, there we go.
Did you enjoy reruns like this, or was this old? Like, to me, like, because when I was a kid, Mission Impossible reruns were on, but I was just like, this is old.
Yeah, it was too old for me. That's the truth. Even by the late 70s, early 80s, it felt dated.
Yeah.
You know? Like, and that was deemed a very cutting edge show from like 71 to 74. Peter Graves was in that. The guy who was the captain in Airplane. I think Peter Graves was in Mission Impossible. I could be wrong on that, you know.
Well, the only thing I know about Mission Impossible is because my parents wouldn't shut the fuck up about it. Is like, this was the first week-to-week TV. Like, apparently, this was like appointment television.
Oh, without a doubt.
And
yeah.
like, and I think before the MASH finale, the finale of Mission Impossible
was one of the.
Oh no, The Fugitive. I'm thinking of The Fugitive.
Yeah, you're confusing it. Yeah. But Mission Impossible was a popular show. I think it ran for 4 or 5 seasons. Like, it had a cat dun 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 dun, and the whole like the fuse burning.
Two franchises that were made into better movies, I would say, is Mission Impossible and The Fugitive.
And I would agree. I never heard of the television show The Fugitive when The Fugitive came out in '93. I watched it at Webster Place Theaters. I thought it was a good movie. I liked that. Was a Harrison Ford still had a certain sway with me because I loved him because of Indiana Jones. When I think of the first true movie star in my brain, the first true Burt Reynolds is up there, but Harrison Ford's in the same. Like they're very much like they were like movie stars. You know. Well, where for you was Harrison Ford kind of an old man? Like
no, but I just so knew him from like
Indiana Jones.
He was such a star that he was kind of on the way out at that point. Like it had all peaked in like Indiana Jones and Star Wars came and went by the time.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
Like,
yeah, it's true. It's true.
Like he was doing what's that movie? Fucking that where he has no memory. What the fuck is that movie?
7 Days and 6 Nights.
No, what the fuck?
With Anne Heche,
it's a J.J. Abrams movie. It's the first J.J. Abrams script.
Oh man,
that like Harrison Ford, like he was
Air
doing.
Force One.
He was doing bullshit dramas.
Preposterous movie. Air Force One is I mean, it is. Of course I've seen it, but it is just ridiculous.
They're actually trying to remake this movie. I think
Mission Impossible.
No. I mean, they don't need to remake that.
Look at those shadows. That reeks of just early 70s television.
Regarding Henry.
Really? It's Peter Graves. I was right.
Regarding Henry.
Is
the movie I'm talking about, where he an ambitious, callous, narcissistic, at times unethical Harry Turner is a wealthy, successful Manhattan lawyer who's obsessed with his work, leaves him little time with his socialite wife, Sarah, and troubled preteen daughter, Rachel. He has just won a malpractice suit defending a hospital. I think he loses his memory and he struggles to regain his memory and recover his speech and mobility after he survives a shooting, inadvertently restoring his family's integrity in the process.
Oh God. What year did that come out?
1991.
That was 1991?
It was the first movie J.J. Abrams wrote.
1991 that came out? Holy shit. I thought that was like more recent. At the same time, that was such a ridiculous plot line. What a bizarre storyline.
J.J. Abrams co-wrote Taking Care of Business, the comedy from 1990.
Who was
starring
it?
Jim Belushi and Charles Grodin.
Wow.
It's got the poster is Jim Belushi surfing on the top of a Rolls Royce.
You have to understand, there was a time Jim Belushi was an authentic star.
Oh, yeah.
I think he was in, was it Red Heat with Schwarzenegger? You know, he's a Chicago cop, and Schwarzenegger is a Soviet guy. Like, he has a lot of Soviet lines. You know, he could play that character. You know, that was a big deal for Schwarzenegger to do that. That was like stretching out, you know, a little bit. Like, he's going to play a Soviet guy, and then Belushi's in that. Like, he was also a K9. wasn't K9 a movie that Belushi?
Oh, yeah.
Jim Belushi was a leading man.
Yeah.
It was all because of
What's
John
the movie,
Belushi.
The Prince, where he rides the Harley through the school, where he becomes the principal of a school and like smacks around a bunch of fucking Latinos and proves to them what the whites can do?
What is it? No, there's another one. He's with Michael Caine, where he gets to relive like a striking out in a little league game if he would have hit a home run. Like Mr. Tomorrow's Never Buddy.
I'm switching to the web browser here so the people
something
can see.
like that. No, there's a movie he's in that actually was pretty popular. I think Linda Hamilton, Michael Caine, and Jim Belushi were in it. And it's a guy who can go back and relive his youth. And what would happen if he would have made that big play? How would his life been
It's
different?
just called The Principal.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, when did that come out?
87.
Ooh. That was right before Stand By Me with Morgan Freeman? We played that hard-ass principal. That's my first introduction.
Yeah. And then Real Men, Red Heat is 88, K9's 89, Homer and Eddie. He made 2 movies a year until well through the 90s. 1997, he made 4 movies.
Oh, dude, he was a fucking star.
Oh, yeah.
Make no bones about it.
And then you had According to Jim.
It's all John Belushi.
What's he doing lately? He hasn't made a movie since 2017. I mean, I'm sure he's deeply embedded in cancel culture.
Oh, Belushi? Well, he owned that club.
Oh, no. He had I forgot he's in weed now. So he looks like he had a reality show called Growing Belushi. That was on from 2020 to 2022.
Oh.
He's probably cool now.
Well, I know that
he had a feud with David Cross for a while.
Oh, really? Over
just a fit. Like David Cross would always make fun of him, and like there was, he had a countdown. Like he would anytime he was in town and Jim Belushi would play Sweet Home Chicago, he would try and run on stage and dance with them, and Jim Belushi would push him off. But he would just genuinely call him a hack and shit.
Yeah, well, listen. Own what you are. He owned that club. He was an investor in that club. Remember that stand-up
comedy
club
bar,
downtown?
yeah. And then he found out Kyle Lane beat his wife, and he was just like, "Oh, we can't be involved in this."
Wow, yeah. He was. I remember seeing him there. And he'd wear like a baseball cap. He thought he was a fucking big fish in a small pond, and I was like, dude, you're ridiculous. I wasn't overly impressed when I saw John Belushi. I wasn't starstruck. I made eye contact and just walked right past him. I didn't care. I noticed that it was him, and that was it.
He was in Trading Places. Oh yeah, he's
absolutely.
The gorilla. He's the gorilla.
Absolutely.
He gets ass fucked.
Yeah.
He bangs a gorilla actually, right? Or a gorilla bangs him.
No, what it is, he changes out of his gorilla suit, and the bad guy in the movie, who's the principal in Breakfast Club, he puts it on him, and then that guy gets raped, and then Franken and Davis, Al Franken, put him in the cage with the gorilla. What a bizarre idea for a fucking movie, Yeah. That was an early 80s comedy that was Landis. Landis was riding high off of Animal House and Blues Brothers. And he did that, Anyway. Yeah.
Here, let's move on.
This is Mission Impossible. Look at this. Oh my God. Yeah, let's go down here. Hearts of Heroes.
And I said, we've got about 10 minutes before it hits Mount Juliet.
Season 4, a tornado outbreak in Tennessee causes massive destruction, saving puppies from a structure fire.
Oh, God.
I love how they get that hard semicolon in there.
Can I say one thing?
What, about puppies or tornadoes?
What about saving other humans versus puppies?
I'm sure.
What about human beings?
I'm sure people would have known humans were hurt. Sometimes tornadoes don't harm people.
Yeah. What type of argument is that?
It's an additive to it. Like, see the semicolon there?
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like 2 separate things.
Do
you think they didn't save people, Crocious?
Yeah. Well, I hope they did. But are they going to focus on saving puppies versus humans?
On fucking channel, whatever the fuck this is, they are.
You're right, though. It's a different thought. There's 2 storylines, right?
Yeah.
One is to say, I think they're talking about saving puppies during this tornado.
Let's find out.
That closet, even though it fell down around behind us, that we didn't get injured. I had a bump on my head, and he had a scratch on his foot. He was sitting out here barefoot waiting.
I had a pair of licorice underwear that wrapped around my face, and my husband had to eat it through my eyeballs to save me. I thought I was blind.
Plain clothes, but his truck had the lights on it and stuff.
This is humans.
It's straight up the Lord, bro. That's what saved us.
Humans. I've been going on another rabbit hole, watching YouTube videos of expats who live in different countries now and who've been out of the States for 12 to 15, 20 years. And they talk about America and how everyone is so separated from each other. So the sense of community is just completely fractured, because everyone needs to have this big yard and a big house. and the idea that maybe that isn't the way to go, the way to live. But you can't tell it to people here. They want to have their own. That's their perception of success. That's what they want.
Right about in the middle of this pile of debris.
Yes, sir.
That's where we were.
Just stare at that debris real quick. He's just making them stare into their fucking pain. Going to Channel 8 right now.
Hey, Kirstie Alley, a moment of silence. Kirstie Alley, man, that was this. Let's see if this is a Kirstie Alley or a Shelley Long. I'm guessing from the look of it, it's Shelley Long. No, it's Kirstie Alley.
It's Kirstie, yeah.
I was wrong.
Here's the thing about this is every episode looks old now because it was just from the 90s was 30 years ago. It's the new 70s. You need to wrap your head around that.
I know. Well, yeah, this is probably like, I'm guessing.
Dude, I laughed. So we were at, we saw that movie Bardo last night.
Oh, yeah.
It's that Inarritu, the guy who made Birdman, his new movie. And they made a big deal about how this theater has been around since the 60s. And I looked over at Larry and I go, "Oh my God, it's so old."
I know.
Like in a sarcastic tone.
Of course, because I know it's just like, there's no sense of this town is a post-World War II city. You know what I mean? So its history is bizarre. I'm going to say something here. I'm going to guess the year of this episode. I'm going to guess with the color of that shirt Sam Malone is wearing.
This guy's associated with
this is 89 or 90.
You're kidding. I'm afraid not.
Season 10.
Oh my God.
So probably 92. This is probably the last season.
I thought it was older than that.
The rivalry between Cheers and the Old Town Tavern, now under new ownership, continues. Rebecca gets a makeover because she was all fucking giant and shit.
Season 10. That you've had a fucking run. You have had a run.
Oh, 10 was epic at that point too. Seinfeld didn't even make it 10 seasons.
Yeah, if you make it 4 or 5, be happy. Be happy. Whoa.
I think we got Rob Aponte in the chat here.
Cool.
Thank you, Rob. He says, "Sucks Hunter Biden murdered Kirstie Alley according to the internet."
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Kirstie Alley. Yeah, she fucking croaked.
Yeah, cancer. She had cancer a quick bout with cancer.
Yeah.
She bowied. She bowied out.
Yeah.
You know how some people bow out? She bowied out.
Yeah.
Which is not telling people you have a voracious form of cancer.
Yep. And just let it be known at that time. Yeah.
Let it be known.
When you actually die.
By the way, Rob, how do we sound? I'm trying to make us sound not too loud. I just want to get audience feedback.
Yeah. We sound good?
It's more the loudness. Oh yeah, go piss. Look at the bearded Fraser Crane. It was so clean and nice. I think he had to shave the beard because it reminds him too much of doing blow. Huge coke problem. We'll go up to Channel 9 here.
And Bridges' first major run will put this system to the test. 9 a.m.
I love a good documentary about a factory inside Scientology. Holy shit, what are they manufacturing there?
Italian, Chinese,
What are they doing with all of that? Are they reading people's Staten levels with those fucking, or are they mining Bitcoin?
Print millions of black and white pages for books.
You can't get your audio on laptop. Oh, I sound good on a phone. Well, the phone's all that matters. I don't. Oh, they're printing out info packets.
Meanwhile,
we're making Scantron tests for the people.
The Cerolia, Autobahn, and the Saccharide. As the horror.
What the fuck? They're naming these individual machines?
And book blocks roll through a thumb notcher invented by Bridge. The two meet at the Diamond 30 Mueller Martini.
Man, look at all
where
this
two
fucking
operators
equipment they got.
easily bind 1 million hardback books. Nearby, soft covers are cut to size on the Wallenberg City E6000 Perfect Binder, fine-tuned to their special French.
Look at this, Crocious. We got Scientologists making pamphlets. Look at these machines they got. It looks like they're mining Bitcoin.
It's hilarious.
The cord is the left side.
Yeah. Cool. Outstanding. Oh, they're making CDs. Look at this.
Oh, they indoctrinate you in many, many ways.
Literally. This is great.
The system works flawlessly. For the first time in Scientology's history, its entire library of materials can be produced at the level of efficiency, flexibility, and quality needed
This
to
is
truly make
just
them available on a
fucking
global.
bizarre.
Well, I mean,
It's
this is
so fucking
they've
LA.
paid for this entire block of. This is KCal. Oh, this is a major. That's when you know you got money. When you can block off a major network, like this is fucking Channel 9. They play the Chargers on this shit.
Well, they also know, I mean, again, this is what's going up against football, you know. So
We're getting there.
Yeah. I want, but the caliber of program, they also know we can get it relatively cheap, but still have some impact.
I want it to be known that Univision is on commercial, and we tried.
I live right next to that Scientology place.
Oh yeah, you live right by it.
Yeah, absolutely.
They got like a TV studio over
Absolutely.
there. There's all kind of shit, dude.
Yeah, I mean, there's production going on there. It's big enough to have a relatively substantial production house. Do you know how ridiculous that is?
It's a house of ideas.
You know, yeah. It's you walk past it. You know what I did when I very first moved here? They had this wall of like shrubs that was like next to a brick wall that they had this buzzing sound in it. I think to get rid of certain insects. So you'd walk past it and it would trigger this buzzing noise that was bizarre. No, something I'd never heard before in my entire life. Like weird, like we're going to use technology to do our thing and maybe draw you in. And I don't know what it's going to be. I live in the heart of Scientology. East Hollywood's got a lot of Scientology going on. A lot of Scientology. I'm not as impressed by it. I find it just ridiculous now. So in my 20s, I would have thought, my God, this is so weird.
Geno Smith went down. Yeah, that's the one religion where like I get disappointed when I find out that people I like are like into it.
Well, Beck is a Scientologist. I fucking adore Beck. Odelay is one of the greatest albums of my 20s. I love that. And it's like, and then he became and I'm like, come on, man. I saw him in concert. He was great in concert. Totally fun.
Part of me wonders though how many of those people are like in though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
what's the level?
He probably just found some comfort in it a long time ago, and like he just is like, how active do you even think he is? Like, I wonder how if he joined and it's just in their books that he's a Scientologist.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they're shaking him down for money all the time because they fucking do that.
Well, he's got to work his way up to become a Sea Org. A Sea Org is like a cardinal or something of the Catholic Church. It's a real high level position. You know, they have like boats. They go out on like cruises.
Oh yeah,
it's just
Ponte in the chat wants to know: is there still a great diner across the street from the Scientology spot?
Oh yeah, they still have a diner. Yeah, absolutely. And it is. It's well attended. I mean, I drive past it enough to see it. Yeah,
the Scientology building used to be a hotel.
Yeah, absolutely,
or a hospital or something.
I want to say an old hospital, like in the 20s. Yeah. Old hospital, like pre-World War II.
Like, I love how they rented this blue hospital building and they were like, no, let's keep it looking weird. Like, this will look good for what we do.
What a bizarre...
Let's keep the building fucking turquoise or whatever the fuck it is. Lavender.
Yeah. They got this bizarre... Well, it's a naval... I think it's a navy blue, I think, if I want to project into it. You know? Because it's very much a naval-themed thing. Because L. Ron Hubbard, I think, was in the Navy. So he used a lot of the structure of the Navy, you know, like the sort of military structure of it all, to like pitch it to people. So it's like, it's part cult, part Navy put together, which is pretty weird.
It really is bizarre, like if you're running a cult and you find a building, you jizz yourself when you find this building. You're like, oh my God, you start the cult based on the building, in my opinion.
Well,
you have enough money to rent a building like that. You're like, obviously, we're starting a famous cult.
God, it's so bizarre. It's also like getting into the real estate game because, again, with the Catholic Church, I think the Catholic Church is the wealthiest entity on earth. I believe it has more property, I think, than any one single entity on earth. You know, I think it's trillions of dollars of wealth. You know, Saudi princes are trying to rival it now, but it's just like. You know, where you're getting into the real estate game through your cult. You know what I mean? Like, here's our business model. You know, we're going to sell this. It's like, wow. I mean, listen, I've struggled at times. Okay. There are times I've had my doubts. You know what I mean? I've been searching at different times. I'm not a knight in shining armor by any means, but I don't know. The cult thing. Yeah. I kind of touched it a little bit. I touched it for a little bit.
Oh yeah. But yours was more like behavioral shit.
Yeah, it wasn't like true, like you are going to live here now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like, whoa.
I mean, all cults try and take your money. Like,
it's a scam. It's a bunch of old industrial psychologists who used to work at like manufacturing plants, you know, and like, getting workers to behave a certain way and maximizing their potential as human beings. This whole you have to maximize your entire potential. I don't know. I mean, yeah, but in what way? Do it in some way you like, No, you must maximize it at all. There's this Christian Western notion of just you have to constantly be working at all times. God. And working on your ego and yourself and your I'm going off.
Oh no, it's fine.
It's great though, but I feel like California's kind of based on that, isn't it? Isn't California kind of based on?
It's all self-care run amok.
Yeah,
essentially.
Yeah,
because people do kind of you do discover some stuff where you're like, oh, this is cool. I like this.
Yeah.
But and then I feel like people go too far of well, this worked for me. Now I'm going to try and make money off of it.
Yeah.
And to do that, I have to get as many people as possible.
I'm bored.
There's a lot of, I feel like California is the home of making industries out of things.
Yeah.
This can't just be something I like doing. It's got to be a business.
Oh yeah.
An industry. We can change the world.
Yeah. There's this weird, I don't know if it's optimism. I don't know what's in it, but there's a certain underbelly to it, undercurrent. Because Chicago's got a huge business community. New York's got a huge business community. But there's something about California. It's that idea of not perfection, but striving for this excellence, and you're going to be, and it's just, I don't know. There's an unhealthiness to it. I don't know.
Sam Darnold.
There's too many.
Finally getting it in there.
How about what's his face, man? Baker Mayfield.
Dude,
come back.
I think Baker could actually do well on the Rams.
Yeah, listen, he's hit the knock for me is he's just too small. I don't think he can take the beating.
Well, I don't even think he's too small. I just think he got hurt. You get hurt early, I think your body just kind of sets in that.
Yeah.
You're constantly in a rehab mode all the time. You can't really. That's why I think sometimes it helps if he just sat for a year and a half.
Dude, why do you think with I've always said this, Aaron Rodgers didn't play the first 3 years he was in the league. His body was able to mature.
Cowherd finally did a thing on his show about how that's probably the best way to go about it, but the league is just too far gone and changed to where he was saying, he goes business. This is where he introduced business and made a good point. I actually should just pull it up and probably play it.
Mm-hmm.
Let me try and find it here. We'll riff on this while I find
back?
it. That's fucking the new Christian McCaffrey.
Oh no,
he's not white.
Yeah, he's not.
He's just probably has a white mother.
Yeah, he's mixed.
He's got a little bit of Aaron Judge in him.
The white race is under attack. If there's one axe, look at this, doing some razzle dazzle. He's moving, throwing the move. You got to throw it. Oh damn it! No, you don't. It's first down. Sorry.
First pass of this series.
Razzle dazzle. I said razzle dazzle.
Fucking student body left.
Come on. I love saying those words. I love saying those. I said one last week I thought was funny. I was talking about, I don't know, making some money. Hey, better than a hot stick in the eye. That was my line.
Yeah.
Better than a hot stick in the eye, which I like. It's a good old man line. When you come into some money, hey, better than a hot stick in the eye, I like that.
Second down and 10.
Look at this bizarre matchup. You see, honestly, the Vikings lost today, and if the Seahawks go to the playoffs and they play the Vikings in Minnesota, the Vikings should be able to beat them. They can win one game. It's just they aren't going to beat the Eagles, they're not going to beat the Cowboys, and they ain't beating the 49ers unless they get them at home. And it's not going to happen. And they can't avoid all three of those teams. They can avoid one of those teams for sure, and maybe two, but you might have to play two of those three teams. And they aren't good enough to get through that. They aren't. They could beat one of them. They could, because Jefferson is a true stud. Jefferson's a great football player,
Oh yeah, he's like the next Moss. Dude, kids like him, they're probably going to be impersonating his catches.
Dude, he had a play today where I don't know what happened on the call, but he scored a touchdown that was a spectacular play. He broke through 3 tackles after a catch and ran 35 yards. And he had a dot. He was on the sideline. He was it was an amazing play. That there was some penalty that I couldn't hear because the bar I was at, because Barney's Beanery with all of its douchebaggery, I couldn't fucking hear what the play was. So it pissed me off, because they called it wasn't a touchdown.
Was it douchebaggery because there were just a bunch of other games going on, or were there people there not for football?
Oh, no. A bunch of other games going on.
So it was just there were like no one really cared about the Vikings.
Oh, yeah. It was on one television set. The Eagles-Giants game was on, and then they turned the game away because the Eagles they were up 38-14, and then the Eagles fans started to bitch about it. I was like, come on. You've won the game. But we want to watch it. And I was like, oh, Jesus. They won 48-14. The game was over. This guy was yelling loudly.
We're going to interrupt channel surfing to get into a little Colin. Continue. I just wanted to make a bookmark. It kind of
pissed me off. I don't know if I used to be a fan of the Eagles. Their fan bases, whatever. It's football. There's a lot of morons, and they got a moronic fan base in a certain way.
So here's Colin on if Nathaniel Hackett should get fired. And I think this is when he talks about how like the league is different and like these teams are richer. So these billionaires make crazy like hairpin decisions.
Yeah.
So like coaches are getting fired. And he said like coaches are moving around more. And because of that, you have to start your rookies more. And because of that, you're having these sloppy games. Oh, it was about why Thursday night football sucks. And he was saying because you're having all this coach turnover. So all these quarterbacks are learning new stuff. It's early, like there's just all this rushedness to the NFL.
Yeah. No, I think there's truth to that. I think there's truth to it.
A lot of times people act too swiftly. They get a little too aggressive. Sometimes wait for somebody to make a mistake. It happens all the time in business. Good people get fired. Good people are available. I'll give you an example. Denver right now is a mess. What do? You get a new coach. But can you really go get another unproven head coach? I would not roll the dice. Go hire Frank Reich. Denver's opportunity.
Are they going to fire this guy after one season?
Well, it's looking like it.
Wow.
It is most efficient year Andrew Luck did with Frank Reich.
He's fucking singing Frank Reich's praises. That's hilarious. Hey, he probably got a point. There's a point in there somewhere.
Phillip Rivers loved to throw picks. Carson Wentz. Last time we thought he could play, 27 TD, 7 picks. That was with Frank Reich. With a roster, by the way, that's always been light on weapons. Denver needs a proven coach. Reich played quarterback. Reich has called plays. He has been.
I remember him playing.
Paul Hackett, Nathaniel Hackett's dad was the coach of USC.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And he was also the.
He was a very bland head coach.
He was an offensive coordinator for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
When the Chiefs
when they got Montana. They installed Paul Hackett to immediately put in the West Coast offense.
Yeah.
I was actually reading about that they were going through top 10 devastating departures.
Yeah.
I got through Colin's point. We can actually put that on if you want to go through that.
It's all good. But you were watching top 10
devastating departures. And they were talking about how the Steve Young versus Joe Montana for those 2 years in the late 90s
or late 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was Montana got hurt.
He was out for almost 2 full years.
That was also that's the 49ers, they want to get rid of a player before they truly lose value. They sometimes would cut players maybe too soon. That was the knock on them maybe. But they were like, no, they want an ascending player versus a descending player. It's like Ronnie Lott still had 3 or 4 years left in his career, and they got rid of him. They got rid of Roger Craig. He played for the Vikings for the last 2 years of his career. They would sort of,
I love these things.
Guys
because
wouldn't finish their
you
career.
Get to see the talking heads of the time.
The 49ers was like Jesus leaving the tomb.
I've been divorced several times. My kids won't talk to me. That's my top devastating departure is my son won't speak to me anymore.
That caught me off guard. Joe Montana demanding to be traded is crazy. It's kind of like Joe Montana demanding to sponsor Skechers Step-Ups. Oh, that happened?
I mean, that was devastating. That was Joe Montana's city. No one wanted to see him leave.
It does kind of make me laugh, though, that there were these fucking meatheads being like, Montana's still a goal. Like,
oh, yeah.
He's 34.
I know, yeah. Well, it's emotional. It's who you're attached to.
Breakup.
They had greatness because of him, and so he was great.
So essentially, Paul Hackett got installed immediately because he gets traded to the Chiefs.
Yep.
And then Schottenheimer, like overnight, the owner was like, we have to install the West Coast offense. And then they got Montana and Marcus Allen in like
Yeah.
one fell swoop
Yeah.
and became contenders immediately.
Yeah. Well, Allen was still good. I remember thinking, I was in college when Marcus Allen thought, oh, well, he's a running back. He'd been the MVP in 85 when I was in high school. I was a junior in high school. And then he didn't play like in 1990, 91. He didn't play at all for the Raiders. And I was like, well, he must be injured or beat up. There was no explanation. So when the Chiefs got him, he still had like 5 years in his career. He played until he was like 38 years as a running back.
Yeah.
And being effective. I mean, he was a great athlete. Totally underrated athlete. People never talk about Marcus Allen as being one of the greatest running backs ever, but he's in the conversation. He truly is. He had this weird nose for the end zone. You know,
People talk about Bill Belichick being cold-blooded.
Can I challenge that? No.
Bill Walsh was cold-blooded.
Yeah.
Well, our strength is...
See, that's what I didn't know. I didn't know that even after he was done with the injury that they kept him benched. Because Steve Young had played well enough at that point.
Yeah.
Level, Walsh played that up.
If you want to talk to someone who wants to play, come talk to me.
It was the smart thing to do.
Would you say this is the first quarterback controversy that you remember? What was the first QB controversy?
No.
Wasn't Bradshaw and his guy a controversy?
That was before my time because Bradshaw was given basically 5 years to develop. That wouldn't happen now. You know what I mean? Like you were not given a 5-year plan. You know. You didn't have 8,000 competing forms of entertainment. First quarterback controversy. What a quarterback controversy. Vikings had one in the 80s with Wade Wilson versus Tommy Kramer.
Whiskey Wade.
They couldn't make a decision. Because Kramer would get hot. I actually watched this play. I don't know. Actually, the original question. Original quarterback controversy. Who was it? You know, it's kind of always, Phil Simms was kind of, there was a thing with him, and like and Mark Bruner. I'm trying to think of other quarterback. Wait, what was a quarterback controversy back? Maybe it was. I don't think it was. I got to think. I have more memories.
Like, I'm not even saying battle between quarterbacks. I'm saying like quarterbacks in the media saying like, I want to play.
Yeah.
Like openly campaigning for themselves at the locker. Like how he was just like, you want to talk to a guy that wants to play? Come talk to me.
Yeah. And that would be very frowned upon in the old days of like sports. Like you didn't. It was your individual. I know maybe Staubach and Craig Morton was a quarterback controversy, but I was there when Staubach and Bradshaw's best years. That's when I first became a fan of football. I didn't realize that Bradshaw had a poor start to his career, or that Roger Staubach was in the Navy for 6 years and fought in Vietnam.
Ooh, a Spanish movie.
But yeah. So I'm trying to think. We had other quarterback controversies back then. Who would have been? With the Raiders, I don't know, with Stabler, and then they got fucking Dan Pastorini. Them winning 2 championships with Jim Plunkett was bizarre. Because Jim Plunkett was left for dead. He was a nobody. He was a washout. And he won 2 Super Bowls with the Raiders. But they had a great defense. Their defenses were amazing. They had really good defenses. They were devastating defenses.
Listening in, DB, I think you're kind of on the same page as us here. That left foot.
Yeah, I think that's
this fucking Panthers team is going to win.
Because initially there's
Yeah, I think this is the week of because the season's dragging on more and the good teams are having to be more responsible for the playoffs. I think you're starting. This is like when the upsets are going to start. And weirdly, it's weird how the gambling line affects things because you can see where the upsets are going to happen when you think when you see spreads that are too big, where you're like, this is too big of a lead.
Yeah.
Where you're like, I think they're starting to overestimate this team a little bit. Like you can tell when they're starting to get like a little too just relying on the past scores to dictate what's going to happen.
Yeah, fucking Queens were underdogs and the Lions covered. They covered. Basically a pick 'em. But I'm not on, I know what the Vikings are. I'm not.
A lot of people are like
house that she had to get to in her closet of her fucking bedroom. They had to call the police and they arrested the guy, and it had been the stalker who had been unrelentingly stalking her, and had a note that he wanted to give her, and it's like, yeah, we're in love, and we have to run away together, and it was, and that was like right out in front of her door. The guy broke into her house.
Speaking of stalking, we're going over to Dateline on.
So I relate to that, Keith.
Dateline is on a commercial. We're going up to Adventura Road on Spectrum. I think this is Bounce.
5G.
Some of these Spectrum labeled networks are fucking, you don't know what they are.
Yeah, I know.
No passport required. What are they talking about, America?
Hey, kitchen. This is like an old school Chinese.
We got fucking the cable version of Guy Fieri here.
What is the shirts they're wearing?
Jesus Christ, what is that? Fucking Tom Morello from fucking Tom Morello from
Rage Against the
Rage?
Machine? Wow, wow, wow.
You like the shrimp with it?
I like my fucking crustaceans to rage. Look at them just smoking out these living beings.
Worked at a lot of Chinese restaurants when they first came over here, and eventually ended up starting their own.
So you grew up in the industry, basically.
Look
I
at
did.
that
I grew up putting dishes
fucking
away when I was little.
jacket.
Yeah, man. He looks like the fucking bass player of a blues band.
But what is it? Reptilian or something? Like that's the look he wants to give. Like it's his underbelly.
It's hard to tell which one is the host and which guy owns the eccentric restaurant. Like that looks like the guy that owns some cowboy sushi place.
Yeah, you're right. Actually.
And then
He's
that looks
actually-
like the type of guy that's interested in it. Or he could be interested in it because look what the clothing he's interested in, and he's just some boring restaurant owner.
Yeah.
Overseas Chinese, because there's more.
I want to put my hat on you.
Oh! Does he come in and like fix up the restaurants?
I think he's just guiding, just taking you on a tour.
Oh, he's traveling. Okay.
A deep-rooted Chinese community in Las Vegas, including its diverse food traditions and a new wave of chefs transforming their parents' cuisine. Hosted by Marcus Samuelson.
Know-how and their well-established hospitality.
I like to dress like I'm 12. I like to dress like I'm a cowboy.
Over time, Chinese-American cuisine started to take shape.
Hey!
Either
Don't undermine the white race, okay? Don't. You're doing this. This is what they're doing, man. They're making us. No. It. Although I heard a fact this week. I asked Alexa, at our apartment, how many people worked in manufacturing. This is an interesting tidbit if you listen to the podcast. And in the States, it's 12.3 million people work in manufacturing. And in China, it's 111 million people. They have 111 million people working in manufacturing. That's 10 times the size manufacturing. But
I love how you got quiet for that.
It's serious.
When you get quiet, you need to lean into the mic.
It's serious.
You need to get your voiceover technique down.
It reads serious.
Because nobody heard you when you said that.
When I was making that point, you don't think?
No, it was in the green.
Oh, shit.
You need to hang in the yellow at all times.
Okay, yeah. But again, the Chinese manufacturing economy is 10 times the size. But that's for the planet. They're the workshop of the world. Who wants those jobs? No one really likes those jobs.
Hey,
they're tough jobs. And,
if Barack wouldn't have sold the ports to China.
Is that being put out right now?
No, he did. Barack Obama sold the port of LA to China, baby.
Changing
the battery.
Well, maybe certain things happen, when you don't cough up enough money, you greedy prick,
like this once-in-a-lifetime concert in 2011.
Just don't even pay higher taxes. Just get rid of the loopholes that all these companies have. Just get rid of that. Don't even raise tax. Hell, fucking lower taxes. Just make them pay something. They need to cough up more fucking money. That is it. That will solve a third of our problems. Jesus Christ, give some more fucking.
He said, "Don't walk, run to Siri to fact check."
Exactly. Goddamn right I do.
Celine Dion. So this is an Andrea Bocelli concert. I hate Andrea Bocelli because my stepdad liked him, and it's the only reason why.
The guy who was like the abusive asshole.
Well, I mean, more psychologically. He never hit me.
Yeah, exactly. But he was just kind of a dick.
Never really got hit. My mom and dad would do the against the back of the head.
Yeah.
The little slap.
Yeah.
But that to them, we were in the car coming home from Bardo.
Yeah.
And we saw a Brad Pitt sign.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Didn't he get canceled for beating his kid?" And I was like, "What?" And she goes, "Yeah, he shoved him onto a plane and he got a bruise." And I go, "That is not abuse."
I know.
And then we were arguing about him being a shitty father, but I was like, even shitty father aside, I go, pushing someone is not beating them. I go, that is patently absurd.
Yeah. It's just, and the rumor mill starts, you know what I mean? And it gets a life of its own, it doesn't,
That's why, and I hate doing it, but anytime someone says physically abusive, I'm like, I'm going to need details. Because what is your definition of physically abusive?
To me, physically abusive.
You got punched.
Exactly. It's putting the fist up and hitting someone in the gut or hitting them in the face.
Yeah.
That to me is the line has been crossed at that point.
Or hit. If you tell me I have an abusive boyfriend, I'm thinking he slaps you.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it has to be physical, yes.
And I still don't think this is wrong, but if someone was like, I have an abusive boyfriend, and then you're like, oh, what's going on? You'd be like, he gets in my face and screams at me. I'd be like, oh, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
And That's
is
like
it abusive?
fucking
I know.
abuse.
There has to be a physicality to it.
Yeah.
It's the fact is,
like, yeah, leave him, but like,
yeah,
you don't have a black eye or anything.
quit your belly aching.
Yeah.
No. If someone yells at you, you know something. To me, that there are times it is appropriate.
A firm grab and pull on the arm is the beginning of physical abuse to me. Like dudes who grab and like don't let people walk away.
Yeah.
That
you're crossing a line.
Yeah.
You're getting physical. It's getting physical.
But you're throwing around the word beating. I'm expecting a fist mark on your face.
Yeah. You know. God,
also at the time, I think Brad Pitt's son was like 16.
No,
and if you're 16, you could fucking take a push onto a Qantas.
Well,
fucking
when I was watching Scandal Made Me Famous, the Angelina Jolie. No, there's a couple of real shows. There's a show about Angelina Jolie and just her life and trying to portray how fucked up she was. And she talked about that moment where they got on their private jet from Paris to L.A., cry me a fucking river with their kids. And I guess he grabbed the hold of one of the kids, and he'd been kind of liquored up. I guess he'd been drinking and stuff.
Oh, he probably fucking blows rails in the middle of them.
You know.
Holy shit, Hagee Ministries.
Oh
speaking of,
is that Dan Blocker?
This is a good thing. We're talking about all these abusive things where they just need to pray.
His only son be.
Yeah, it is. Look at P.O. Box 1400, San Antonio, Texas 78295 if you need help.
Yeah. Is this a good? Is a mega church maybe?
Killer. Yeah. He was a monster.
When I was a kid, this is all that was on, opposed to football. That's all that could hang with football was fucking the 700 Club and shit.
Well, it's Sunday.
You know. Tongue can tell.
Also, I used to get upset because I was an insomniac and I would wake up for Saturday morning cartoons. And if I woke up at like 4:45, I had to sit through 15 minutes of this bullshit. Where you're like, oh my God, every channel is church. I can't fucking deal with this right now.
Yeah, it is. It's terrible. I've tried to watch some of this before, maybe from a comedic point of view. I just find it dull. It's white church for crying out loud.
This is why you need some deals.
It's supposed to be dull, you know?
Look at how terrible these watches are.
I have got to get my Kansas City Chief. That is unbelievable. For Christmas? Can you imagine buying this is a Christmas gift for someone.
That's like the fucking... We here with the Invicta Soul Brother Deluxe.
That gladiator design.
Oh my God,
this will make you look like a blaxploitation star.
Exactly. Oh, it's so bad. It's so like...
If you want to keep your pimp hand strong, there is just not a watch that blings more.
Well, you know, isn't... I'm going to say something. If this is old man racist talk, let me know. Okay? I don't think it is. But isn't there a thing too, like, because when I look at this is marketed towards an urban crowd, I would say. Would you agree that?
Well, Invicta is its own brand, so this is just like all of this is Invicta products. But I think it seems like it's all gauche bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
It's either that type of thing, urban, or like Trumpy rich people type of like fake rich fuckers.
Yeah, who think they're rich and they're really
got an
not.
Invicta watch. Can you imagine some? Like, there's an old lady right now that is just emptying her Social Security.
Oh, yeah. And just like,
into this right now.
Now I'm successful. I have that.
That, to me, I didn't realize until my grandma died. Old ladies in the 90s ruined their credit. Just sitting up at night and buying fucking chains for their off infomercials. Fucking charms and shit.
What holes are you trying to fill? You know, it's kind of sad.
It's just the immediate, that looks nice, and you could, back then, picking up the phone and purchasing something, like, it's just
that was revolutionary.
Like, it's probably just the high of buying something.
Yeah.
Like, that was immediate back in the day.
The fix of that,
You can just pick up the phone and it's at your house in a week.
Yeah, God. It's crazy.
And
absolutely. But I look at this as like, again, like
those aren't terrible. That's not a terrible looking watch.
But those the football ones were preposterous.
But like, look what I love how they try and sell you. Like, this would be $500, but we're selling it for $100.
Oh my God!
No, that's an $89 watch.
That's such a deal.
Only done once before. This is the
look at the tackle box case they give. Yeah.
All right.
Let's pop on some commercials here. We'll go to. We'll come back here.
Worth of dive case here. Remember, you're grabbing the second
Crocious
one for a
is
penny.
abrupt, dude. I still haven't.
That's $100 worth of dive case already at $99.99.
I still haven't figured out Crocious's fucking mannerisms.
Penny. But now with the code, think about this: $80, $80 to get into 2 pro divers, and we'll get into the history on that. High quality quartz movements, and again, I'll break down what this all means. You have the flame fusion crystal.
Trying to
watch
find some
built
commercials
and engineered
here, guys.
to dive specifications, 20 atmospheres, a little bit over 600 feet. You want the ultimate gift? This is it. Not just the Pro Diver, the premium packaging. Think about elevating that experience when you're gifting, right? That packaging is going to do that for you. If you're new tonight and you want to start your collection, this is the best way to do that, right? Grab two, right? Either kickstart your collection with 2 Pro Divers, keep one, gift one, right? So we have some really great opportunities here tonight, but we've never done anything like this before on a Pro Diver. I would even ask you to go out and check to see if you could get a dive-rated piece from any other company with this quality, solid steel, everything, flame fusion crystal, right? For $40, because ultimately, that's what we're talking about.
Good luck with that. Almost 1,000 gone since launch just last night. First time ever doing
The Simpsons
with
will be right
dive
back.
Molly, come here.
Wrong screen. This is such a terrible fumbling break.
Value Pay. Now, I want to talk about Value Pay just for a second because so many new customers joining us with this offer. It's just the best
Really threw me
way
for a loop, Crow.
to buy your first Invicta.
I had
My
nothing
first
planned
Invicta
for the
was a
break.
40 milliliter Pro Diver. I know a lot of you can probably
I just got
relate
people
with
sitting here
that.
watching fucking the
6
Home
monthly
Shopping Network.
payments on any major credit card.
I've never seen someone shoot out of their chair so quick.
That way, you only pay the first payment plus tax and shipping tonight.
You peed already, didn't you?
I mean, the Christ is like, there's a song that says, not going to worry, not going to fret.
All right,
He's got the whole thing in his hands, and I'll play that over and over again. Or I'll play, I know a song by David Ingalls, My Confidence is in the Word of the Lord.
Yes.
It's so important just to build yourself up in the Word of God, whether you're quoting the Scripture as you were quoting, or whether you have music coming, because I can have music all the time.
See, everybody responds differently. Of course, I respond that way because I grew up in the house of a man. That's the way he responded.
That's right.
Always. Anytime. Even when we were standing at Pat's mama's, my grandmother, his mother, we all called her that because one of the grandkids couldn't say grandmother, and so she called him after her uncle, and her mom, she said, Pat, that was her uncle.
Yes.
Mama. And so all the grandkids called her that.
Pat's mama, yes.
And we were standing there, and she had just slipped, now you probably remember this, all the family around her bed, and she had just slipped over to the other side, and he began to quote Scripture, one after another, out of his mouth. And it just,
All right, we'll be back. What a horrible intro to the break.
Original Toll House cookies with rich, creamy Nestle Toll House morsels. I'm baking cookies, spending some time with you. You just can't buy something like this. Nestle Toll House morsels.
Our truck has broken down. We need help. Better call Dad Gillette. Mike! What, girl? I should dial 1-800-COLLECT? I'll save Dad lots of money on the car. And come Christmas, there'll be extra presents under the tree. Aw, thanks, girl.
1-800-COLLECT.
Flowers on your birthday? That's easy. Flowers every day? That takes finesse. Softness from a conditioner? That's easy. Softness and body? That takes finesse. That takes finesse.
I am not going to get it.
Are you okay?
Yeah, no way am I going to get it. I'm going to fight it. I'm not going to get it again this year.
You don't look so good. When the tough get sick,
I got the flu.
the sick get tough with Tylenol Flu. With maximum strength flu medicines plus extra strength Tylenol for the flu's tough aches and fever.
I am not getting sick. I'm not getting the flu.
Got the flu? Get tough on your flu with Tylenol Flu.
Your child has a fever, and you have to take her temperature where? But a Thermoscan instant thermometer takes the temperature here in just 1 second. Safely, easily, accurately. Your whole family will love it. Thermoscan.
Aunt Jan's holiday cookies. 13 grams of sugar each. Grandma's Thanksgiving pumpkin pie. 20 grams of sugar a slice. Cousin Gertie's Christmas fruitcake. 40 grams of sugar. Cheerios. 1 gram of sugar. So this time of year, you and your family can at least start the day with something wholesome that has only 1 tiny gram of sugar. Cheerios. They can't get enough of those tasty-O's. Which is more than you can say for Cousin Gertie's fruitcake.
They thought they were living a nightmare.
A rapist is stalking Julia. He's gonna hurt her. No!
But their terror was just beginning.
Louis prowling for Julia. He may have found it by now.
Don't fight it.
He said he was gonna get her tonight.
This is gonna be the hottest night of your life.
How will it end? Find out this week. All My Children, ABC Daytime.
Tuesday at a special time, 8, 7 Central, Hayden's house guests wear out their welcome.
It's like we're living with magic fairies.
It's an all-new coach, Tuesday at 8, 7 Central on ABC.
Hey, Santa, I need some ideas. Sears has a whole store full of ideas. And this Tuesday, everything in the store is 5 to 50% off. All apparel and appliances are on sale. All computers and comforters on sale. All electronics and tools. All the gift ideas you need, all 5 to 50% off. But all for one day only, this Tuesday. Come see the merry side of Sears.
Mothers protect and care for the health and safety of their children in many different ways. And when it comes to relieving fevers, moms listen to their pediatricians who overwhelmingly recommend children's Tylenol. It's the first choice of pediatricians. They know Tylenol has no aspirin or ibuprofen, just the proven medicine that effectively relieves fevers. Children's Tylenol, the first choice of pediatricians.
No, there isn't a fountain of youth. But we do know that proper nutrition is one of the keys to staying healthy and active. The good news is, now there's Boost. It's a whole new kind of milkshake with 25 important vitamins and minerals, including antioxidants and beta-carotene. And sometimes we're just too busy to eat right, but you can help keep your body at its best with Boost.
Looking for the perfect gift? Chia Herb Garden includes everything to grow fresh herbs in your own kitchen. And with the natural chia growing sponge, it's clean and easy, no messy soil. Place a moistened chia sponge in each clay pot, sprinkle on herb seeds, water, and watch it grow. Chia. Cooking with fresh herbs is healthy and makes food taste delicious. Look for chia on the box. Chia Herb Garden, the gourmet gift that grows.
Chia Herb Garden's available in all Target stores. Makes a great gift for the holidays. Get yours today.
Which meal turns dinner time into family time?
Manwich, that's which.
Which meal's been your favorite since you were a kid?
Manwich, that's which.
Which sauces bring tacos and burritos to life?
Taco and burrito seasoning sauces from Manwich, that's which.
Which meal is as quick and easy as it is delicious?
Manwich, that's which.
Sounds great. So what are you craving right now?
Manwich, that's what?
Manwich. Whenever you're hungry, it's the right answer.
Once upon a time, there was an ugly duckling who went to Paris and came back a swan.
I didn't recognize you. The haircut, to say the least.
She met 2 handsome princes named Linus
Whoa.
and David.
This is too much fun.
She enchanted them both.
You're dazzling. She's terrific.
And turned their whole kingdom upside down.
He loves her. Who? Sabrina.
Harrison Ford, Julia Ormond, Sabrina, rated PG. Starts Friday, December 15th.
I'm going to put something in front of you, Kathleen, okay? What do you smell?
I don't smell anything.
That's a bad cold you got there. I have a nasal spray I want to give you. Now what do you smell?
I smell orange.
Yeah.
This is wild. Tristan.
Tristan 12-hour nasal spray.
This stuff works.
Frankly, it makes me nervous.
It's not exactly what I call good news.
Hey, good for you. Bad. Very bad for plumbers like me. The problem is, professional strength liquid plumber works too good.
This liquid drain opener won't dilute in standing water. Stuff cuts right to the problem.
For hair clogs, nothing's faster, except me.
I hate it. Professional strength liquid plumber drain opener. Sorry, plumbers.
This holiday season, give him the Gillette Sensor XL with protective microfins. The best you can give
the best a man can get.
Flowers on your birthday? That's easy. Flowers every day? That takes finesse. Softness from a conditioner? That's easy. Softness and body? That takes finesse.
That takes finesse.
The flu. You've got what it takes to overpower the pain. Or do you? Now you do. Because now there's a hot, soothing flu remedy from Alka-Seltzer Plus. Introducing new Alka-Seltzer Plus Hot Flu and Body Aches formula. What flu?
Her sons disappeared, but a total stranger spotted them with their kidnapper. Missing children home at last. Next Oprah.
Today at 3, only on Channel 7.
Today on Eyewitness News, starting at 4, heavy rains cause a gaping sinkhole in an exclusive San Francisco neighborhood as the storm heading this way. Plus, snow blasts the East Coast, throwing some holiday travel plans into chaos. We'll have the latest forecast. At 5, he shot and killed a man trying to steal a car. Will he be charged with murder? The DA decides. Then, after the recent deadly accident involving a trash truck, many local residents are wondering when their garbage will be gone. These stories and more today on Eyewitness News at 4 and 5, only on Channel 7.
All right.
Where is this feed from, these commercials?
I don't know. Every now and again you could catch when they do like they'll show like the fucking Kalamazoo.
Yeah, I think this is California.
A lot of these, but a lot of these rips come from like Columbus, Ohio, or Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like these random cities, but not cities.
yeah, absolutely.
It's because to me, I feel like those are the places where people are taping the news.
Oh yeah, I think it's a safe assumption.
Yeah,
I don't think you're looking down on someone when you do that. I think it's a totally safe assumption.
No, not at all.
You know, because what I watched this week, Keith, just to let you know.
What did you watch this week?
You'll be fascinated by this.
More celebrity autopsy.
Well, yeah. Now those Scandal made me famous is one I've discovered recently, which is great. Jessica Hahn. Lorraine Bobbitt, I watched that one, which is hilarious. It's so fucking cheap. But
we're gonna go back to not 1995 for a couple more minutes.
But I watched the Game 15 of the 1980 season between the Cleveland Browns at the Minnesota Vikings of 1980.
Week 15.
It's an Ahmad Rashad. It's the Hail Mary pass of the Vikings.
I only know basketball Ahmad Rashad.
And it was
Love Boat.
He made an amazing play against the Browns, who were
Look
great.
at that pimp. He's gonna fuck that dog.
They had a Hail Mary pass.
Oh, dude, Staubach invented the Hail Mary, right?
It was against the Vikings, but the Vikings did that. Tommy Kramer threw it, and Ahmad Rashad made a one-handed catch.
Back in the day, how often did a Hail Mary happen? Because now they do it at the end of the first half. They'll throw a Hail Mary.
Oh, listen,
that was the kitchen sink in the 80s.
Oh, in the 70s and 80s, absolutely. Didn't happen very often. They called it the Big Ben sometimes. Just throw it up there, the Big Ben. You know? That was a name. But that was a because you're right. At the end of the first half, they hadn't discovered. That's one of the influences of the Patriots on football, is figuring out, the end of the first half actually matters. I think they kind of knew it mattered back then, but now they specifically they do scripted plays for that moment in the game. You know what I mean? Like they actually plan for that moment in the game. You know,
Spanish SWAT. It'd be funny if they captioned that sound with a
mariachi band comes
or something salsa.
That really bad. That bad heavy hand.
Or just a voice going, "It's hot." It's la flama.
Let's see. Hey, I'm in ese. Oh, look at this. That's hey. You're putting some fucking...
Here we got some news.
Y mire, precisamente, la jefa de gobierno de la ciudad.
Listen to that echo in that studio.
Informó en su cuenta de Twitter.
Put some blankets on that roof.
No
Jesus
shit.
Christ.
Do something.
Let's pump through a little bit of this public access. I know we stopped a royal Christmas engagement. This is Ion Television. I was talking about this on a solo show, Crow.
Yeah.
Holiday Hallmark movies are leaking into every network. They had one on CBS the other night.
I believe it. Yeah, CBS with the hat in the ring. Yeah.
You remember that Nick guy who died of COVID? He got his legs cut off. He was a theater gugy. Nick Cordero or whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
My cousin knew him. I'm probably disrespecting him mightily by not knowing his name.
Yeah.
His wife got a Hallmark Christmas movie on CBS. It wasn't Hallmark, but everyone's attempting at doing
Yeah, exactly. Wow. Well, I believe it. I mean, CBS always, they would do that. You know, touched by an angel, right? And they would go into that market of television, like Jonathan Quinn, Medicine Woman. I thought those were very kind of light drama, right? Wasn't it?
Jonathan Quinn, Medicine Woman.
Sorry,
that's the quarterback from the Bears.
Exactly.
Craig Krenzel, Dr. Man.
Craig Krenzel was such a when you think of the shittiest Bear quarterback. And not a guy who had the three past it, but a guy who actually played 10, 12, 16 games. When you think of the shittiest Bear quarterback of your life, who is it? I know it is.
Gotta be Rick Meyer.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah.
I don't think I've seen him complete a pass.
Oh.
I think I only saw him throw interceptions.
Yeah. Yeah. God,
because I had Jim Miller for a while.
He was like blue collar.
He was like Tommy Maddox.
Yeah. Yeah. He was
and
blue
then
collar.
The Bears were good at getting guys that were just painfully okay.
Yeah.
Jason Campbell, Cordell Stewart, Chris Chandler at the end of his career.
Yes. God.
It's just so many, we're going to kick the tires on this fucking guy.
Yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if they would have signed Culpepper after he blew his knee out.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they were known for that. That's why trading for Cutler was such a big deal. It's like, we're going to solve our quarterback problems. But then that just didn't really turn out that well either. You know what I mean? Okay, whatever. But they went to a bowl, man. The Bears went to a bowl,
Yeah, dude, I got to miss work for it. God.
Good for
Mr. Fumio Kishida and his Australian counterpart.
China in focus.
Signed a bag last.
Pretty soon all the news will be Chinese.
Exactly.
They'll own us.
That was the fear in the 80s, the Japanese.
Well, I mean, they will eventually. We do owe them a great deal of money.
If you ever watch 80s movies, Black Rain with Michael Douglas, Fatal Attraction with Michael Douglas.
Yeah.
A lot of big time movies of the late 80s, the Japanese were the fear. My God. They're Die Hard.
God. They make our cars, Cindy.
Don't you understand? They're taking over the Japanese. Trump bitched about them back in the late 80s. They don't practice fair trade. They don't do it, And so the Japanese were feared. And now that has been just transferred onto the Chinese. But it's more accurate with the Chinese because
they make our tchotchkes, Diane.
Public Safety Minister.
What do you think's going to come out of that gumball machine when they finally own the country, huh?
Yeah, God, yeah.
Pussies. Yeah. That's what's going to come out of there.
Oh, yeah.
Underwear. Balled up underwear, Susan.
Say
that a federal.
Balled up underwear. China in focus.
Here we go. We're getting into the real meat now. This is Sunday Night in America. God's news.
Oh, yeah. Oh. I
gotta admit, these kids just need to pull themselves up by their bootstraps.
Well, exactly. I mean, right.
Why would you shill for fucking St. Jude on a beautiful capitalist network? Yeah. Make these kids fucking fundraise, sell chocolates, you fucking tumor-ridden fucking, like I had to do for fucking Little League.
Yeah, exactly. Sell that tooth. You know what I had to do for Babe Ruth? This you'll like this guy. I think I'm getting credibility. They gave me 25 toothbrushes. They wanted us to go door to door and sell toothbrushes for Babe
That's like
Ruth.
some traveling salesman shit.
And I remember being like,
go sell these vacuum cleaners.
And I was literally like,
you were just doing the coach's day job. You didn't know it.
Here's what would happen. Everyone would bring the toothbrushes to work and everyone would buy them at work. That's all it was. Well, with me, they said I was the only kid who didn't sell a toothbrush in all of Babe Ruth.
While we talk about this, I am going to go over a little bit of television league here, but I love it. Babe Ruth selling fucking shit.
And they told me because I didn't sell any. I kept all. I was like,
of course you didn't.
I am not going door to door and selling a toothbrush. I'm not. Maybe I did it 2 or 3 times, and I live in kind of a wealthy area, and everyone rejected. I was like, I'm not gonna. They rejected.
Did you live? Well, your dad was a government guy, right?
Yeah.
Did you live in like an area where it was all like government people? I've heard DC's like that.
Yeah,
like,
kind of.
They all live in like the same subdivision.
Yeah. There's some of that. There's some of that. There's definitely a lot of G-force housing, like government worker housing there. So that's what. But I lived in an area that was like totally WT. I went to Stonewall Jackson Middle School. Okay, that was the name of them. They didn't change that until 2 years ago.
Yeah,
like the height of BLM.
COVID really made people see the country because like you had to be in. So I feel like COVID is when people finally Googled the names of high schools.
Yeah,
and we're like, and George Floyd essentially was.
Oh
like,
yeah.
We need to
was
clean
the
up.
Breaking point.
Yeah, the Stone Marie Douglas leathernecks and shit like that, and fucking
change those names. But the point is that it was white trash. A lot of government people. And
fiery cooters.
Yeah.
Of fucking St. Augustine.
But I felt like I was on a good roll there. We were talking about
Stoneman. You're where you grew up in your neighborhood, Stoneman Douglas.
No. Yeah, Stonewall Jackson.
Stonewall Jackson.
Yeah,
I was talking about
that.
government people in the same neighborhood. That's what I asked you about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it's all good. I'll figure it out.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah, it'll happen. It'll hit me. But
moving to TV League anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to.
It was
channel
bitching
surf,
about
though.
the younger generation in some.
Well, and you were talking about selling vacuum cleaners.
Yeah,
for your
exactly.
Little League.
I was the only person.
Speaking of selling, we'll go to Shark Tank.
I was the only person of all the kids in Babe Ruth who didn't sell a single toothbrush. All the other kids at least sold one, and I was like, and then they said, you know something, Brian, he bought one for himself, and I was like, I don't give a shit. This is a ridiculous idea. You know, I was 15.
Yeah,
that's why I knew I didn't fit in very well.
Look at A-Rod on the panel. Try selling your toothbrush to these cats.
Single mother, totally relate with that.
Why is he?
A few things I don't like.
Because baseball's an industry.
Well, I'm sure he's trying to portray himself as like he's a businessman. But
listen, when I get into get-rich-quick schemes, this is the plan I lay out.
All right, guys, why is this a $1.6 million valuation?
As you guys well know, a company at a stage like us, the valuation is more of an art than a science. But we've talked to experts.
This show is in the league, baby.
Oh, I believe it.
This scores
popular,
points.
yeah.
The new episodes. Speaking of that,
look at
Crow
they're rocking,
Shouse.
but they are nervous. They're rocking back and forth.
Oh,
they got
yeah.
bad
Because
body
DDP
language.
Yoga got big off this. This is the sad part about this show. It will launch your product.
Yeah, I believe it.
I mean, look at those shirts. They made squirrel shirts, for Christ's sakes.
That you guys can bring.
So hang on.
Look at him just thinking about investing in Bitcoin.
I know exactly.
To sing.
So hang on.
I write some poetry.
Okay.
I actually wanted him to become the owner of the Cubs. The league wouldn't allow it.
Oh, this guy?
So here we go. I'm going to go over the Flix Patrol top standings. I'll give this a little bit of volume so you can hear
there's
it.
lots of things I don't like about it.
Netflix Wednesday scored number one, 50 points. Firefly Lane, 40 points. And a show called 1899. It looks like it's about the Bermuda Triangle. Got 35 points.
Not Yellowstone, 1923.
Yellowstone, 1923, 1899. I feel like that's the new prequel strategy of like, just fucking predate it.
You know, you're gonna just take my land. The government's gonna take my land.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna do.
The fucking, what is their name? The McDougal family?
You're gonna get me off of my land?
You know, Kevin Costner has a show, an extension of Yellowstone on Fox News's streaming service. He goes to the national parks and just like wistfully talks about how like the kids don't get it probably. I just want to understand these people. These racists.
Well, yeah, I mean, hey, the national parks are that's a crown jewel of the country. But Trump, like there was a giant area of New Mexico, a big mining area that Clinton and Gore had basically said it's off limits for mining that Trump completely turned over, saying was excessive federal overreach, you know? Because that's what they just deregulated it all.
Ooh, I fucking racked
This is what's
myself
going
on
to
the
happen.
side of my chair.
It's all good.
I hit my balls. You guys saw that, right?
You're seeing the Viking highlights right now, aren't you? Right there.
What's up?
The Viking highlights are on. The Viking behind you.
Oh, it's just,
The
that's
highlights.
playing. You want to watch the Viking highlights?
Yeah, exactly. I want to put those on.
Do you?
Yeah, I do
Okay.
actually. Yeah.
I do actually.
Yeah, because I just want to. You know, I think it'll be good.
End zone, Adam Thielen looking for a flag.
So, I'm going to go over the top scorers here for you.
Sure.
So, House of the Dragon took 52 on HBO Max.
So look at Cook break this guy's ankles here. Look at this. Look at this. This is a good
Wouldn't it be
little
great if they actually broke his ankles at some point? If the guy like came apart like fucking Lucas?
When Fields had that touchdown run last week, he busted that guy's ankles. That guy fell down.
So we had a pretty hardcore fight between Rick and Morty and House of the Dragon. It's been going back and forth as I've been doing the scores.
Rick and Morty is huge.
So House of the Dragon got 52 points on HBO Max. It got 50 points on iTunes. It got 40 points on the Google Store. And I think that's it. And then Rick and Morty got 35 points on Vudu. Rick and Morty got 35 points on Amazon. And that's it so far. It's starting to knock off a little bit. Yellowstone got 40 points for Paramount Plus. Yellowstone also got 40 points on Vudu. Yellowstone also scored 40 points on iTunes.
Wow.
Abbott Elementary scored this week, came in second place on Hulu, 42 points.
This was a big play, if I'm not mistaken.
Cousins
Yeah.
fires to the outside.
He dropped that. Hawkinson dropped that pass. That was a big play.
And then the network winners of the week, NCIS scored first place on Monday, 51 points. Got a point for the demographic. The Voice took first place on Tuesday for 51 points.
That show still has life.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
And then it took second place on Monday as well. So it also got an additional. So that's 84 points for The Voice.
Yeah, absolutely.
In a week, that's a nice chunk of change. On Wednesday, the Chicago shows took the podium. Fire, Med, and PD, first through third place.
Yeah.
Young Sheldon, our fucking frenemy Young Sheldon, working its way up. It's number 7 now in the top 20.
Wow.
What has it got? Fucking 731 points.
I know a Lance Barber who plays the father. He was a comic back in Chicago.
And then Blue Bloods, damn it, got first place on Friday, 53.
Listen. Do this product. You gotta
They won't let me stop filming until you buy one.
You know, I'm Tom Selleck. And this play hurt him too. They initially called it
that route.
Yeah.
But because he had to come back to the football,
O'Connell will
that
challenge.
wasn't a first down. They didn't call it a first down.
No shit.
Yeah, they have such a thin margin of error because their defense is so bad that when their offense is not executing well, that they don't win. Their defense, they need to get 4 or 5 new starters on defense, Keith. They need a pretty big overhaul. They need a lot of youth and guys who can run, you know.
Hell yeah, they need
That's
youth.
what they need. Oh, yeah. I didn't see that.
So let's run through the show's championship here. House of the Dragon is in first place for now with 1,563 points.
Yeah.
Rick and Morty is number 2 with 1,545 points. And then we got a 200-point drop-off with Yellowstone at 1,312. Grey's Anatomy at 1187.
And what place is Grey's Anatomy?
4th.
Okay.
And then 5th place is Game of Thrones. That's kind of tied to House of the Dragon. They increase similarly.
Yeah.
Because after House of the Dragon, I think people just roll right over to Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Pass out. I really wonder how much of streaming is people falling asleep and just letting their shit run. I bet you that's why they embedded the thing into Netflix that like stops it and asks if you want to continue, because they don't want ratings to inflate.
Yeah.
They don't want people just dozing off and fucking running through Grey's Anatomy.
This drive was key. This is towards the end of the first half. This is where Cook fumbles, but they totally had a good drive. This is a response drive. They moved the ball well here.
Weren't they down like 28-7 at some point?
No, they weren't.
Jefferson.
Here's what's telling about football.
31-16.
Here's what's telling about football. So it's about a 3-hour broadcast.
Yeah.
There's 18 and a half minutes of football played.
Oh, I know.
And these highlight packages are 12 to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
That means
Yeah.
this is pretty much the whole game.
Absolutely.
Cousins
See, this is a good play.
It is caught.
They didn't call that a first down.
That's wild.
They didn't call that a first down
That's
either.
wild because Justin Fields
And then
will just reach his hand over.
Watch this. Here we go. Well, what happens here?
Fumble.
Oh, there we go. And he kicks it and gains. And they missed the field goal on this, though. The Lions did. But then the Vikings got the opening kickoff, had a little bit of a drive, punted it. But they stopped the Lions 3 and out, and the Lions faked a punt and got 25 yards.
Speaking of football, Crow, here's how powerful the NFL is. Sunday Night Football has 528 points and is 14th in the TV league.
Wow.
So it's going to hang in there, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'll probably be 40 by the end of the year.
That play was brutal.
Sunday Night Football is a top 40 television show.
Oh, yeah?
The Emmys don't want you to know that.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you imagine if the NFL won the Emmy for best show every year?
Maybe
that
it'll
is
get
going
to
to be
that point.
So that's what's cool. What was cool about that Bardo movie? We saw the movie Bardo.
Yeah.
It takes place in a fantastical world, like where, like on the news in the background, Amazon bought Cali, the North Mexico, and they call it like the United Mexican States of America.
Wow.
And like even they're like real hardcore rate. It was a pretty wild movie. It's like Birdman, but with Mexican shit.
Oh, interesting.
Like the movie starts with the dude, like, so essentially it's about this reporter who's from Mexico but moved to the United States, became very famous, and like has a fucked up life, but the way they portray the fucked up shit, like at the beginning of the movie, the wife has a kid, and the doctor goes, he wants to go back in, and the wife's like, what? And they go, yeah, he says the world's too fucked up, and they shove the kid back in the wife's pussy, but that's an analogy for the kid dying.
Oh, okay.
Like 15 minutes later, you're like, oh, the kid died.
Oh,
and then like they're fucking later and the kid's head pops out of her vagina.
Wow.
And like that's just like the thing they create. And throughout the movie, a lot of things like this happen. Like there's a scene where he goes back to Mexico and he's talking to like an American government person, and they're trying to like leverage his story about coming back to Mexico of like, make the United States sound good and you'll get better stories when you come back home. And while that's all going on, this big reenactment of the Mexican-American War happens all around him.
Wow.
And it's like all this very like, she was telling me in Mexico, they play hard on that like fantastical reality shit because that's how they cover magical realism. They call it like that's how they cover for their fucked up lives. Like your child didn't die. It was scared and wanted to go back up into the mom. Like,
wow.
That's how so the movie is all about anytime there's something
like that kind of folk story.
Anytime there's a fantasy happening, you just know it's to cover something awful that's really happening in this guy's life.
Oh, okay.
So the entire movie is like that. Like he'll be walking down the street and people will just fucking start samba dancing and shit. And like the one thing that annoyed me is it goes on a little too long. Like there's a scene where the whole movie he's wrestling with his relationship with Mexico.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where he's walking down the street and like all the people start dropping dead to represent the random missing that go in Mexico because people just go missing.
Yeah.
And then like fucking Aztec statues start appearing and shit and he walks toward one. No shit, Crow, for like 3 minutes. Like just walks down the street towards this big thing and you're like, get on with it already, dude. I get it. He's walking towards this pie like... Go! Like, I don't need to see him walk the whole way there.
Yeah.
He's not saying any, you're just hearing his footsteps.
Yeah.
2.5 minutes. Where you're like, get on, like, where you're like, this is too artsy.
Yeah.
Like, he climbs a pile of dead Aztecs, and you're like, I don't need to see him climb the whole pile.
Yeah.
You could have him start climbing, and then the next scene, it cuts to him on the top. I get
exactly.
it. He's climbing a giant pile of dudes.
Yeah. It sounds like they had a filler. Here's a Vikings drive here too. They score a touchdown on this drive, and they went for two. They went for two, Keith, when they scored a touchdown here. Isn't that weird? It's a weird choice. See, they scored it. It's a good play by Thielen.
Well, that is, that's weird because you don't need to win this game.
Well, it's also it is.
I mean, at the end of the day, maybe that's their mentality. It doesn't matter if we lose, so I guess let's try to win.
I thought it was a weird move because then throw it to Jefferson now. That's what you do. And then they try to do this bubble screen here that Thielen's 32-year-old old white man body can't move fast enough. You know, I didn't like that play call. That's the first time Kevin O'Connell this year has made a call that I really didn't agree with. That I didn't agree with. That's the first time. Hey, we're in week fucking 13. I'm saying that. You know what I mean? Like he's been pretty damn
a smart
good.
guy. He's a good-looking guy. You think he's hot? That'd be funny if you think he's hot.
But no, but I think he's actually been a pretty good. I think he's been decent enough. I mean, for what they are.
Would it be weird for you that, because like, here's something does it weird you out that a lot of these coaches are younger than you now?
Oh yeah.
Like if you met Kevin O'Connell, you couldn't cheese to him the same way you would a Denny Green or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, oh my God, Mr. O'Connell.
I know. Yeah,
I'm 20 years older than you. I cried when the Vikings lost to the Bears in 1975.
Really? Like, that means nothing to me.
He'd be looking up at you.
Yeah,
because he's probably 5'10".
Well, yeah. Look, O'Connell's a relatively big. Whatever. You know, the biggest mistake they made was hiring Ed Donatel because Ed Donatelling.
That makes me upset because I love Vic Fangio.
Yeah.
The Bears D hasn't been the same since Fangio.
Yeah.
And I just sucks that his guys aren't good.
Yeah, they're implementing a 3-4 defense with talent that is really at a 4-3 defense level. Daniil Hunter is not functioning well in this defense. He hasn't been able to exploit his talent. So they were expecting him to have a really good year, and he's just not had it.
So to the Broadcasters Championship,
they caught this, yeah.
It's pretty much a 2-horse race. We have Paramount Global with 9,698 points.
Ooh.
And then number 2 is the Walt Disney Company with 8,652.
Yeah.
And it tracks the same. So check this out. 3 is Warner Brothers Discovery, 5,348, and 4 is Comcast. And there's a rumor that those two companies are going to merge. So it's just interesting how those two people see that, like, you know, we're 3 and 4. And I think they look at Disney and Paramount and they're like, well, they're only who they are because they're just acquiring all this shit.
Yeah.
So like, it just makes sense that we merge here and become one entity so we can compete with Paramount and Disney.
Again, this is not capitalism. It's an oligarchy. It's an oligarchy that accepts like 3 to 4 players in the market. You know,
and then this is how powerful cable is, and I want to illustrate this for people. Everyone was tugging streaming's dick. Netflix runs it. Fucking Amazon runs it. But Amazon is popular not off their streaming. That's a fucking fun game for them. Like, Netflix ruled the roost, and then cable was like, hold my beer, dog. I'm about to go purchase every fucking television station on planet Earth.
Yeah.
And make a streaming service and put all that shit on there.
Wow.
So now they've even they've taken cable and they're like, okay, we're going to do original programming like Netflix and throw every episode of South Park on here and throw every, like, they're just competing hard. Like, people talk shit about cable, and then cable was like, we'll show you what a streaming giant looks like.
Yeah. Wow.
To where Netflix is buried now. They're at 6th place with 2,301 points. That's fucking 7,000 points off the lead.
Wow.
Like,
and again, who's number one again? I'm sorry. It is
Paramount.
Amazon. It's Paramount. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Keep playing.
Which is CBS. That's Paramount Plus. It's fucking Nickelodeon. It's fucking.
Look at this play that Jefferson. I don't know what the call was. I gotta see this.
Did he
Look
stay
at this
in
play.
bounds?
Knocked out at the 33.
He hits principled. He stayed through. He followed through.
He did not go out of bounds here. This is a touchdown. This is a touchdown for him. Look at this play he makes. This is a touchdown too.
I don't know why you're looking back at the quarterback. If
I don't know
you were
why.
going to jam him and watch
Look
him.
at this.
Don't
He does not
sit
go out
there
of
and start
bounds here.
playing games
And they
with
called him out of
Jerry
bounds.
Jacobs.
And that
Jerry
this play was
Jacobs needs to
huge.
just keep running and play the
That was a
man
great
until the
play.
ball is
He's
thrown. He
fucking
started
good.
looking back and
You know.
peeking.
Yeah.
Not real.
And then Apple has entered the league because now they're keeping track of all of Apple's things. So C, which is that Jason Momoa show where he's a blind fucking Hawaiian or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we have this Echo 3 that debuted at 40 points.
Oh, what's that? What's that show? What's that
I don't
about?
even know. Let's look it up.
It's
Let's
like it
look
sounds
up
like a
what-
science fiction
Echo 3.
special
It's probably
forces
about
thing.
a little tiny fucking robot that is a town falls in love
Echo
with.
3. Ooh, I live in Littleton, Colorado. Kind of like the robot in Rocky 4.
When brilliant scientist Amber Chesborough goes missing along the Colombia Venezuela border, her brother and husband, both elite U.S. Army commandos, struggle to find her against the backdrop of a guerrilla war. What is that fucking? This is fucking that Gene Hackman movie,
Uncommon
Valor.
where they go. Yeah, this is how they ended the game. They ran that guy in motion.
Then they kicked the field goal, right?
Yeah.
When I turned it on, the Vikings had a chance to like hold them and get the ball back.
Yeah. But I mean, they went
No
for
team
it.
has ever made the
The
playoffs.
Lions went for it this game, and they played a pretty
Oh,
damn
dude!
good
I mean,
game,
Dan
you know?
Campbell cries if he loses, so he needs to win every time. He even cries when they win sometimes.
Yeah. So honestly, I don't think the Vikings played that bad. And I think the Lions are actually a decent team. So I'm not. You know, their defense sucks.
We'll
but-
go through some, and then right now I'm going to go over a couple
Yeah.
shows that are just going to crack the podium.
Sure.
Like, so The Crown and this show called Elite almost made the podium. Elite is when it's a show from Spain. When 3 working class kids enroll in the most exclusive school in Spain, the clash between the wealthy and the poor students lead to tragedy. European shows are wild because it's just like when the fucking Basque government fucking, it's just all these weird like
political offshoots and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Harry and Meghan almost cracked in there. That fucking stupid interview they have.
I've seen that.
That was number 4.
Wow.
And then just out of the Rick and Morty almost cracked the top 3, The White Lotus. A lot of CW shows getting in that HBO race.
Isn't White Lotus isn't it having its
That's a comedy.
climactic episode this week or something?
They
or?
remade Willow. That's a show on Disney Plus now.
Yeah,
That
I
got
saw
third
that.
Place.
Yeah, they
That's
remade
got
Willow.
35 points. No midgets.
My mind is
Not a midge.
I didn't play Dungeons and Dragons, so my mind doesn't work that way. I don't know that's like a story element of people now. It's just I don't know. It's kind of goofy.
Anyway, I'll post the graphics for all the TV League stuff. Let's go to TV history. Let's close this bitch out.
Sure.
Strong.
This Cowboy team should have lost at home to the Texans.
Oh yeah, they saved it at the end.
Yeah,
Touchdown of the year.
Well,
this is another win that might cost them. You fucking waste your energy beating the Texans.
Yeah.
And you don't save yourself for the first round of the playoffs because you're not going to get the bye.
Well, yeah. What I'm hoping, frankly, with the Vikings, you know, they have 4 games left. They're probably going to go 2-2. They'll be 12-5. To me, sit guys the last couple weeks. Just sit them. Win the division. You're not going to be the number 1 seed. Oh, he fumbled that. You're not going to win the division. You're not going to be the number 1 seed, and just rest people. They need to get their offensive. Darashaw still hasn't played in 4 weeks. You know, in 3 or 4 games, he hasn't played. So he's got to play in a little bit because he's a very good football player. You know, they need him. But his brains are scrambled. The CTE. Ooh, I'm sorry, my frontal lobe. Listen, you're playing football. You should sacrifice your future mental health and mental well-being getting your brain jarred around for our entertainment. Don't you understand that? You should be playing with your concussion. Actually, no, you shouldn't. It's actually a horrible, horrible thing to do to someone. It will shorten their life by many years.
Yeah, I'm going to TV history here.
I like it.
You didn't know.
Good idea.
Yeah.
I like so this day, the week of December 5th.
Well, I want to get the videos. So this is just what the video thing here.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get two separate things here. I should have had it better planned.
It's okay.
I got to go to the web browser here,
Listen,
so I have this up.
I wouldn't be talking about this unless the reverse mortgage is a good idea. Is
Sounds a little like Sean Flannery. But then they also have one with Joe Namath.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that one.
Listen, man, get that health insurance. It'll make you all cool, dude.
Listen, hey, do you still think you're cool and you're 68? Come on. Oof. Yeah, Joe Namath was synonymous with cool in the early 70s, he had a television show for a year. That's how big Joe Namath was. He had a television show in New York City. They recorded it on Tuesdays, and they would just get drunk as skunks, during the filming.
Here's the show I wanted.
And he'd talk about like men's fashion and stuff. But he also said he was actually hurting while he was filming it, so he didn't like doing it, because he had taken a beating just 2 days earlier,
I apologize. I had it pulled up. I forgot I was going to... Oh, Mr. Willoughby's Christmas Tree. This is what I wanted to watch. This is a Jim Henson thing from 1995.
Wow. Was he still alive?
No.
He died in the 80s, didn't he?
Yeah, I think his son Brian was doing this, but they kept the name alive.
Well, they have a studio over on like Fairfax.
Yeah, they have a reality show where they let... Here we go.
I know. So I dropped people over there who wanted to go visit it. They wanted to tour it.
As they got.
I got multiple things going here. Hang on. Shut that off.
Oh, there's Holmes.
Famous
I see
holiday
the Holmes.
Stockard Channing is in this.
He's the very
Leslie
Nielsen
as Baxter.
just beyond those trees.
Mr. Willoughby.
Now, Mr. Willoughby loves Christmas more than anyone in the world.
Mr. Willoughby thinks there's a war on Christmas.
The holiday season doesn't truly begin until
Jesus rises from the grave. What if it's just Kermit talking about
that
he joins up with Kirk Cameron?
What is that the equivalent on the left? On the right, that's their weird
Oh,
fear.
we're we celebrate the Druid fucking stone mass. Where we we smash chicken blood into a stone, like getting into all sorts of like, where does Christmas come from? Let's do different cultural things. We do Kwanzaa in our house.
I see where you're going.
Dude, there was a Hallmark movie. Here's where it is now. Here's the modern Christmas.
Yeah.
There was a Hallmark. So Lifetime does this thing called Mahogany, which is all black guy movies.
Yes.
And they did a Mahogany Christmas movie.
Really? With a name like Mahogany?
So this black family did the Christmas Prince, about a strapping black man who's the Christmas Prince, and like he kissed Rudolph on the nose, and that's how he got it's just all sort like Santa, but not Santa.
Yeah.
No, not an old white guy. It's a hot African fucking prince.
What a bizarre twist,
There was a moment in the movie where the daughter was upset because she goes, Brandon says Santa Claus gets you your presents and not the Christmas Prince. And the mom has to go well, that's what his family believes. And I was just like, this is bullshit. Like this is too much.
Yeah, it is. But I feel like
just make Santa black. I met him at the hospital all the time.
I'm talking about the right wing fear though that they're taking over Christmas.
There is no left wing fear of that.
No. Not about. But what is the left wing equivalent? Like, oh, you're not recognizing transgender. Like, what are they? Well, what's the equivalent of that for the left?
Like a ridiculous.
Because the right wing of like, oh, they're afraid that whatever Christmas is going to be Christmas.
Probably microaggressions.
I'm trying to
microaggressions are probably
it well
I get what you're saying. What is the left's like how the war on Christmas is annoying?
Yeah.
Like what is the left wing's annoying fight?
Thing like
probably
that.
microaggressions.
Yeah, maybe. God,
we're like
it is.
You can't subtly imply that someone has a flaw.
It's
that's a microaggression. Like when you say if you tell someone they're late, like you're late a lot. That's a microaggression.
Yeah, no. It's because you got to be told you're late. You have to be responsible.
Like, you can't say anything that implies a deficiency in any way that you might not be aware of. There's a reason they could be late. They could have a colostomy bag or something like that.
That may be, but you know something? Then that's got to be made clear. HR's got to make that clear.
We used to like my open mic Power Hour.
Yeah.
Someone reviewed it. Like someone talked about how fun it was on Facebook. Like, oh, Power Hour was so fun. And someone commented, I hear it's kind of microaggressive. And I commented, I go, it's macro-aggressive.
Good. Yeah, the microaggression is, because again, their fear of oh my God, they're coming after Christmas. What's the left-wing fear? Oh my God, they're coming after. What's the left-wing fear of that? Oh my God, they're coming after. You know, they're coming after. They're coming after Christmas.
Oh, I mean, that's where the left is on point. The left's fear is all they're coming after our lives.
Well, yeah.
Like, that's their fears.
Yeah.
Now, they might go a little extreme of like, when someone... Like, I feel like sometimes people on the left's immediate thing is just like, why do you want me dead? And it's just whoa, I didn't say that.
Yeah.
I just don't understand this thing you do.
Yeah, exactly.
Where, like, the idea that, like, the misunderstanding of something leads to death.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
going like, in some cases, it might.
Yeah.
Where, like, if you let something fester too long. Like, homophobia and transphobia, yes. But, like...
Yep. No, I hear that. Yeah.
Or even with transphobia, sometimes I think you can be transphobic and still not want them dead.
Well,
to where I think sometimes the left kind of couples that too much of just like, you voted for this person, so obviously you want homosexuals to die. Where you're like, pump the brakes a little bit. Like, let's find out about the person first.
Yeah. No. I hear what you're saying. I mean, obviously, I am no fan of the Tangerine Nightmare. You know that. But I hear what you're saying.
But in general, I will say when the left complains about something being under attack, it's truly under attack.
Yeah.
And it's about something real, like people's rights. Like going after, like defending a holiday is stupid. Yeah. Even if they are attacking Christmas, so what?
I know. No, but it's
capitalism has
identity.
Destroyed Christmas more than any religion.
Exactly.
It's just the softest, fucking most stressful. You know how stressed out I am? That like I can't buy more than one person in my life Christmas presents. I just can't afford it.
Yeah.
So like every year, that's my pick. Who's getting Christmas presents?
Yeah.
And now it's always her. So like I just got to justify like, well, family, you're done.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Yeah, you get them things.
What?
Yeah.
Isn't it also like, I think with, no, you're absolutely right about that sort of dimension of it. Yeah. What I found stressful about Christmas was the preparation. Like, I remember it was a few times my mom had family over and we'd have like 20 people in our house.
Is that fucking John Travolta?
And that was extremely, no, it looks like Robert Downey Jr. It was extremely stressful. I found them very stressful holidays.
Yeah.
With family, a lot of family coming together, and like people who didn't really get along very well and being kind of put in this.
They didn't give a rat's patoot.
You know? And I was just, and it was just like, I don't know. It was a kind of a forced thing sometimes, which I didn't really like. I dropped out of it. I keep in contact with about 5 people from my family, and that's it.
It's too tough.
I still like the idea of Muppets narrating a real holiday party. That's when Uncle Charlie pulled out his sawed-off shotgun and started talking about the plight of Native Americans. Let's peek in on it.
Who is that guy?
I don't know. It's not Stockard Channing.
No, that's a woman.
You got to hear the voice.
Oh, that's quite good. Oh, sir.
I think that is Robert Downey Jr.
Is that Robert Downey Jr.?
He really needed to make that court money. This is when he got caught fucking walking into his neighbor's house.
Smacks of ingeniosity. Okay, children, give me room.
Dude, this is how powerful TV was. Let's see how many people watched it.
This was 95?
95, December 6, 1995. 8.8 million people watched this.
Is that Robert Downey Jr.?
Let's see. Let's find out the fucking.
I feel like it is.
The what's what. Let's find out the what's what about this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Listen to it while we find out.
Because this is when he was definitely going down the abyss.
So this is based on a book. It is Robert Downey Jr.
God.
A single Christmas tree becomes the source of cheer for the people and animals living around Mr. Willoughby's estate, who is Robert Downey Jr., based on the children's book of the same name.
I say you take this treetop up to
I say you pay me so I can go pay my lawyer.
Yeah, again, this was when he was beginning to really become a junkie, like a true drug addict.
So
I gotta
far
admit,
away-
his story is pretty interesting. I thought he was done.
He came
man.
back. Yeah,
and he came back. I mean, he's a leading man.
Iron Man
you know?
was really his comeback. I mean, he
Huge.
did independent movies,
Yeah.
but that was his true star comeback.
Oh, yeah.
And Downey Jr., I think, made it possible to come back.
Yeah.
Like before, like Mickey Rourke got the Downey treatment after that.
Yeah.
Like I think that's how much of a copycat and like glom honors Hollywood is. They're just like, let's find another addict and revive him.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, you look fucked up.
Yeah, I know.
We can clean you up. What's Tom Sizemore doing?
Exactly. God, what is he doing? God, he is
heroin.
Yeah. I think he's probably on. Could he be on Skid Row?
No, I think Sizemore cleaned himself up.
I hope he was, man, in the late 90s or he was Born on the 4th of July, like in 1989. He was in, he was in a lot of big movies, you know.
Let's see if there's any Tom Sizemore news.
He always
he was a horror guy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, I think he had.
God damn it.
I think
I got to
he had a
remember
real
I'm
problem.
on a different keyboard.
Yeah, Tom Sizemore had problems. It's safe to say that that's Stockard Channing right there. She was in Grease. Look at this cast. I wonder if it was also like a part of Hollywood, like, okay, we all do drugs. I mean, fucking
Nielsen, the Naked Gun movies aren't funny.
Oh.
Leslie Nielsen isn't funny. Like, it was always just him with like that. He's standing there with candles on his head. Like, what the fuck is funny about this?
They sure are.
It looks like they're torturing an old man, is what it looks like.
Weird. Don't they know anything?
The first Naked Gun
Movie
is a good
stinks.
movie. The first Naked Gun is good. I stand behind the first Naked Gun.
Like, the Naked Gun to me, I don't know. All I know is whichever one they go to Angel Stadium.
Yeah, that's
to me,
first
the
one.
humor of that is just like they throw a pitch and the ump's like, strike 27. And everybody's like, ha, 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 because there's only 3 strikes in the game. Like, oh my God, with this 1950s bullshit.
Well, what it was is he was also doing, because when the crowd cheered, the umpire also wanted to be cheered. You know, when he cheered when he called a strike, then he hammed it up more and he started breakdancing. You know, but that was, I remember seeing that
It's
in
a
the theater.
fake ass airplane.
It's the same people who did Airplane, obviously. It is. I was 19 years old, and I remember being in hysterics over that movie. It hasn't aged that
No.
well. It has not aged that well. It's got some funny
OJ
moments.
was in fucking that movie,
Absolutely.
isn't he?
And the commercial for it, I remember seeing this in college, was Leslie Nielsen looking up a ladder and saying, "Nice beaver" to a woman. It's Priscilla Presley's legs. And she says, "Thanks," and hands him a beaver. Like, whoa, he's looking up her skirt, man. Like that was a joke still, you know? Like, have you ever seen Splash with John Candy and Hanks?
Oh, yeah.
Where there's a thing where the guys who intentionally throw change down to look under a woman's skirt. That was a gag some guys used to do. You know, like, I'm going to just throw, women are going to notice that you're throwing change down by them and like looking up their skirt. Like, that's a little cheap, isn't it? I've never done that.
So here are some things
I've
that
never had
happened in the week here. A few things.
Yeah.
December 6, 1995, pop star Michael Jackson collapses during a rehearsal for his upcoming HBO special, One Night Only. Wow. That was when he was starting to shave pieces off his face.
Oh yeah.
I think that Oprah interview he did in the 90s was right around then where that was the Bashir interview where he went into a furniture store and was just like, I'll take that. I'll take that.
Yeah. That was like 03. I'm wondering, I've said this before, is he going to have Whitney Houston has a biopic. That tells me that Whitney Houston estate is like, we got to get some money in here because we don't have any fucking money. So I'm wondering if that movie is realistic and does it portray Whitney Houston as a junkie? She was a big cokehead.
No, I think it will, but I think it's gonna try and suggest that like there were other forces in her life that drove her to that.
Yeah,
I hope they just don't lump it all on Bobby Brown.
Yeah.
Like, I just hope they don't make it seem like Bobby Brown fucking tortured her to kill herself with cocaine.
Yeah, like it's
fucking again patently ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, I think they got to go into her relationship with her mother. I think she had a very difficult, complex, strained relationship with her mom.
I feel like, and I know she was super famous and had a Mariah Carey-like voice.
Angelic voice.
They make it seem like she's fucking the Beatles.
Yeah.
Like that she performed to fucking hundreds of thousands of people every night.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't have a career for a long time. Like,
she got heavily into drugs.
It's I Will Always Love You and then nothing.
Yeah,
after that.
The Bodyguard.
She has 2 hits.
Yeah. Well, in the
I Want to Dance with Somebody.
Yep.
And I Will Always Love You. That's it.
Oh, I think she had some other hits.
And she sang the national anthem.
Yes, exactly.
That's it.
They're going to have that moment.
They're
in the
using
biopic.
those 3 moments to make it seem like she was fucking the biggest star on planet Earth.
Yeah, it's still trying to like maintain that, you know. But yeah, but I'm hoping.
And they have that moment. I'll let you go again.
Yeah.
They have that moment where she's in with a record executive and she goes, I'm going to be the biggest star in the world.
God.
Like where she don't take sass from these record producers.
God.
Even though that's probably what drove her to drug use, is taking all the sass in the world.
She's a disturbed human being. That's why the people who truly become the most famous are disturbed. They're disturbed people. They have
Look at this shit. You want to see Disturbed?
Lives.
Look at these guys.
They're overcompensating. Because I want to say with Michael Jackson, if they can do a good Michael Jackson biopic, but the whole pedophilia element, I don't know how that gets handled. I don't know how they handle that. You know what I mean? Like, how do
they won't make
film
it
that?
Because of that.
Well, that has to be discussed. If
they don't need a biopic. There's been documentaries. You got
Yeah.
to watch these documentaries. They will never make a Michael Jackson biopic.
But his life was so fucked up.
We all know about it, Crow. There's nothing you don't know about Michael Jackson's life, childhood, death. It's been
You're
fully
probably
examined.
right. Yeah,
what would you like to know?
I guess, again, the study in fame and why it's necessary that, yeah, it's a good point. Everyone knows it. You're right. Yeah, would there be new territory? Yeah, you know, I think you're right. But I think it could be interesting because it's just how absolutely massive he truly was.
Yeah,
you know?
people cried when they fucking...
I mean, he was a
the second they saw him, they cried.
Star. Yeah, they fainted. The people peed
Song
themselves.
number 1, passing out.
Yeah, exactly.
At least pick your pass out.
At least
like,
do it
really?
During,
this
do it
is
during
what
Beat It.
Yeah,
you know?
You're gonna go down there and jam.
I know.
Fucking song 1.
Because it was when he was with that Thriller video, he was a fucking rocket ship, man. He was huge, and again, just his inability to deal with that. I think it's very interesting to me. There's got to be more stories in there, familial crap that went on that just made him what he was, and sort of made him live in a pure fantasy world, a childlike fantasy world.
I'm gonna run through some events because we're probably not gonna do a show until I get back, so I'm gonna probably go through Christmas here.
Yeah.
December 8th, Father of the Bride 2 is released. You know, I've never seen either of those movies.
Neither have I. I heard it's.
I know they're huge.
Yeah.
And they remade it with a Puerto Rican family on HBO. Obviously.
Yeah.
I hear that one's bad.
What? I'd be curious to see how it looks now because Martin Short plays this over-the-top gay wedding planner.
Yeah.
And it's not I remember getting bad press in like
in 92.
Yeah, in Wisconsin, people were like, and the way gay
I wonder
men
if they
are portrayed.
fixed that with 95.
What? I don't know. I'm sure that character came back.
Oh yeah.
That part of it probably hasn't aged very well. It's a very kind of stereotypical gay character who gets overly excited and stuff.
December 13th. Sense and Sensibility is released.
He literally has his works right behind the table.
Yeah.
Right, but he's literally like, oh.
They wanted him to come fully out of the door, but he couldn't.
No. I got to fix up over
I'm
here
nude
for a
from
while.
the waist down.
I'm shooting it into my testicles.
High in the pine trees.
I mean, this
the
is
owls
amazing to me that he
in their
did this.
icy
This is
cathedral.
pretty interesting to me.
Oh, I mean, they probably paid him a fair amount.
Oh,
because
I
this was
think
at the time where this was, like I said, 8 million people watched this.
Oh, I know. Yeah, this is
so
not
this
like,
was probably Downey being like, this is 8 million people.
Oh,
watching
absolutely.
This.
I got to keep the
Yul Brenna's gonna see this.
It's all. I have to support my $2,000 a day drug habit.
December 15th,
That's why I got to do
1995, Jumanji is released. That movie was huge.
Huge. Never
Huge
saw it.
feat in movie making.
Did you?
Yeah, I finally saw it a couple years later when the Stars Network came out and they had a free trial. Remember they do the week-long free trials of the movie networks?
Yeah.
I finally saw that.
But is it actually? I never saw it.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's just them. Robin Williams plays this dude who got trapped in a video game. Like you play the game and real shit happens. You roll the dice and whatever it says really happens in your life.
Yeah.
And it's all jungle based. It's been made into a very more popular franchise with The Rock and Kevin Hart. There's fucking 4 of them and shit.
I know.
They've
Isn't that
erased.
amazing?
December 15th, 1995, over in England, the final episode of Mr. Bean is aired.
Wow.
I didn't like Mr. Bean. I had some friends who did, and I thought they were boring.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't like The Simpsons, because my friends who like The Simpsons also like Mr. Bean and shit. And I was just like, well, that sucks. So how good is The Simpsons?
No, The Simpsons is better than Bean. Bean is okay. I remember like waiting in line at Six Flags and they had Bean videos playing. It was just like, God, you know, because they used to not have, when I went to amusement parks in the late 70s, early 80s, they had no entertainment like that. You took your medicine and you waited 38 minutes in line for that fucking roller coaster. And it felt like an eternity. They didn't feed you everything.
Oh, here we go.
You know.
December 20th, 1995, Buckingham Palace announces that the Queen has advised Prince Charles and Lady Diana to divorce.
Wow.
And then December 20th, also on that day, NATO begins its peacekeeping mission in Bosnia.
Yeah.
Also on that day, 159 people are killed when American Airlines Flight 965 crashes into a mountain in Buga, Colombia.
Yeah.
Ooh, what's that one?
I wonder if that wasn't a...
Let's Google that. No, there was no air terrorism happening at that point.
At that point, I think he had been offed. I think the big guy had been offed. You know?
Let's see here.
What a bizarre life to be a drug lord of that level.
The crash was the first U.S.-owned 757 accident. Is currently the deadliest aviation accident to occur in Colombia. Let's see what happened. 12 seconds before the plane hit a mountain named the Deluge, a ground proximity warning activated, announcing an imminent terrain collision. Here's what the fuck happened.
Yeah, it must have. I'm guessing there were some weather conditions going on.
Yeah, it usually says the reason here.
There was a dense fog. Or
okay,
snow.
So here we go. Summary: controlled flight into terrain caused by navigational error and pilot error. They probably input the wrong shit, and when they took off, they just took off into a fucking mountain.
God. Oops. Sorry,
That's
forgot.
why when you're picking your airline, you pick which one has the happiest pilots.
Yeah.
Because airplane crashes are always pilot error.
Yeah.
You want them focused.
Yeah.
You want them calm, and you want them happy with their job.
Yeah, not pissed off and fighting a hangover.
Delta and Southwest are the two American airlines that have the happiest pilots.
Yeah.
Lionel Richie marries Diane Alexander, December 21st, 95. Who gave a fuck about that?
I didn't. He was a has-been by that point. That was before, like...
Christmas 95, Dean Martin died from lung cancer?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking wild.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then 4 days later, 12 Monkeys was released.
I saw 12 Monkeys in the theater.
Isn't that a Terry Gilliam movie?
Yes, with Brad Pitt.
All the hipsters love Gilliam.
You know, I mean, I of course liked... I mean, you know, Holy Grail is an epic comedic experience in my development as a human being. But I don't like some of his movies. What was that movie, Fisher King? Not good.
No.
I remember not liking it.
Trying to run through the rest of this week and see if there's any other cool Christmas stuff. But I think that might be it.
Wow.
One Angry Man, Survivor. Dateline was done with OJ stuff at that point.
Well, yeah. Well,
so they finally got to air the entire year of 1995's programming.
Yeah, because I mean, OJ, the verdict was 3 or 4 months earlier.
I was looking at the names of some of these Dateline OJ specials. They have specials about like individual jurors.
Oh yeah,
Margaret Smith, Juror X, what she thought about the situation.
Absolutely, dude. But well, dude,
it's looking like that's the only thing here. Let me wind it down a little bit. Let's fucking close it down. Let's go back to the regular TV. Did you have a good time, Crow?
I had a great time. I enjoyed it very much so.
We can link. We can now. Crow has agreed to do the show over Zoom when he has time.
Yep.
I figured out how to put him on the screen here.
I think it's a great idea.
So we can do that. Yeah,
absolutely. I will text on that. You know, but this is a good show. Thanks for talking me down after a Viking loss, but they're 10-3 still, so I'm not totally upset with them. You know.
Yeah. No, it's all good. So yeah, I guess as I fire up the music here, follow the show, twitch.tv/thisiskeithpaesel.
Yep.
I'm going to put the shows on YouTube, but they get chewed up. So just follow the Twitch stream. It's better. Also go get into our Facebook group, TIKP, the Superstation.
Yeah.
It's the official group where you post all the shit you're watching on TV, make fun of each other, all that fucking nonsense. But until then, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching.
Absolutely.
We love all of you. We'll see ya.
Yeah.
On the TV screen, you gotta show him some love, you gotta show him some green. The world's gone crazy and it's so obscene. You gotta know where to hide in the big machine. Say it sounds like TV on the radio, so push that sound.
Now, how can we announce we are off the air when we are off the air?